cool. And we're gonna go here and make a tweet about it because I do everything last minute. All good.
It's okay. I felt that.
Yeah, I do. I do. I really do. Mainly because I was doing other things, but that's okay.
That's life.
That is life. Life. All right. Let's see. Where's the tweet? I went too far back. Oh no. Oh, okay. So you said you want to work on aiming stuff as well as positioning, and then you also had a question about, do you think it's better to master one agent or try to get good with all of them? Okay. And we can touch on that in a second. Hi. Haha. Bam. Tweet. Awesome. Ooh. Nice. Okay, cool. Awesome. I do have you added. That is right. I think I did. I should have you added. Aha!
Yeah.
There we go. Cool beans. Cool beans.
Cool
Sheep
beans.
gang. Okay, I like that. I like that. You changed your name. That's cool.
Yeah, but the hashtag is still Sion, just in case.
To avoid confusion.
Yeah.
That's fun. Fun. Cool. Alrighty, let's see. So we got that selected. Cool. Awesome. Alrighty. Well. Oh, okay. So. Let's go ahead and just quickly go over what you want to work on. So I know that you said that you know you want to improve on aim and finding good angles, and also economy. Economy is good because that is one of the things that a lot of people lack on, but it's really easy to work with around. Excuse me. So we can talk about that. To answer your question, do you think it's better to master one agent or try to get good with all of them? I think getting good with all of them is great, but I think mastering one agent at a time is better when you're trying to start out and figure out how to play the game and everything.
That makes sense.
Yeah, because you don't want to like overwhelm yourself with a bunch of information and not like be able to get good at one agent, right? You want to be able to you have at least one mastery. It's like if you can take a bunch of classes at one time and get like C's in all those classes, it's not as good as just taking like 3 or 4 and getting A's in them, right?
Right, yeah.
Yeah. So you want to make sure that you like spread out your you know, your, or not spread out, but make sure you master one thing and then move on to the next one. It's good to have like knowledge, like general knowledge of certain things, but it's much better to like master one character. I think if you're trying to do like especially ranked, trying to like rank up very easily, then just mastering one character before you on the next would definitely help.
Oh, I heard that in ranked, usually you don't want a solo kill. You want to make sure you're like a full stack, like a 5 stack, maybe 4 stack. Do you have opinions on that?
I guess it really just depends, because for me, I do a lot of solo. Well, once you hit like ascendant and above, you can only solo queue, duo queue, right? So you can't like 5. I mean, you can 5 stack, but you get like very little rating for it. It's more so one of those things you do for fun, right?
Okay.
Yeah, but as far as 5 stacking goes, I think that at the like lower ranks and stuff, that's probably a really good idea. If anything, I think the best way is just finding like one person that you're really comfortable playing with and just duo queuing with them, because then even if like the rest of the team isn't doing great, you can still have a chance with 1 or 2 people. So.
That makes sense.
Cool. Yeah.
Thank you.
Of course. Diallo, hello. Ame, hello. Welcome, guys. Welcome. We're gonna get started here in just a second. So let's go ahead and open up the practice range. This is where I like to start with everything, just get a general idea of what we're looking at, figure out how everything's going around. But if you might, could you go ahead and share your screen for me? Just share Valorant or whatever works.
Okay.
Cool. Cool. Yep. And then once you've shared that, you can open up the practice range. The practice range is super handy. You can learn a lot. Awesome sauce. Let's see. Here. Pop this out into a new window. Oops. Yeah. And then this over here. And open this on OBS. Where is my... Ah, here it is. That is not what I wanted. This is what I wanted. Cool. Awesome. Oh yeah, we did just start yellow. So welcome. Okay, so got that pulled up. Cool. Alrighty. So what I want you to first do is I want you to just click the practice button with the bots. And I would like for you to just like, you know, take your time and just try to get warmed up a little bit. Click on the bots, you know, headshot to headshot, and try to just work your way about it. So, you know, you can do whatever pace you'd like, but I just want to see what sort of level of confidence you have as far as like just quickly going about it. So. All right. Oh, I meant like shooting bots. Sorry. I should have said that.
No, I had to adjust your Discord volume, make it a little bit higher.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Oh, my bad. I saw you shooting the walls. Like, oh, maybe I didn't say the right thing. All good. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Let's see. Oh. Alrighty. Cool. Go ahead and F3 for me. On your keyboard. Yep, and then go ahead and turn infinite ammo on. Just that you don't have to worry about that. So, do you know what DPI you play with? What sensitivity
no,
DPI?
I don't.
Okay. Do you know what mouse you have?
Yeah, I just got this one.
Cool. What mouse is it? Just wanna.
It's a Red Dragon Griffin mouse. Yeah.
Mouse. I see. Okay, Red Dragon Griffin. Maximum 7200 DPI. Let's see, what is the default? Okay, default is 800. So assuming that you haven't upped it, which I don't think you have, playing on 800. Okay, cool. Cool. That answers that question. Cool. Awesome. So are you comfortable playing with the sensitivity just to make sure that, you know, we don't have to change any of that sort of stuff before we get...
Yeah, I did adjust the sensitivity when I got the new mouse, yeah.
Okay, perfect. So we don't need to bother with that, which is good. Awesome. Okay, cool. Here, let's go ahead and hop really quickly into a spike rush. So we'll just go ahead and leave the lobby. Or actually, even a deathmatch. Even a deathmatch is fine. Yeah, you can just leave match. And we'll get right into a deathmatch because I just want to be able to see what sort of oh my god, what happened to your ping? I think it's fine. It'll recover.
Yeah,
it's all good. Go ahead and close this. Yeah, so what I want to watch here is I just want to see, you know, how you go about you know, shooting and that sort of stuff, as well as the sort of movement tech that you already know, and that from there we can sort of go into more specific stuff. Why is what red? What is red?
Deathmatch.
my ping box.
Warm up.
Oh, probably that's probably what they're asking about. Yeah, it's red because connection problems, but I think it should be fine. Here, and I'll just Chill in a corner real quick. The ping, yeah, it's just because of poor connection. Poor connectivity. Alrighty. I'm just gonna go AFK in a corner.
Fight. Breaks over.
Awesome. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull this here and see what's going on. So how long have you been playing Valorant? Just to get some background info.
Since like April.
Okay. Gotcha. Good. Yeah. This is screen share. DLO. This is screen share. Just to get a general understanding what you're seeing, so I can talk about it while the game's going on. So. All right. Nice.
Thank you.
Of course. Yeah, so for now I'm just watching and seeing basically and basically taking notes on my phone and saying, hey, okay, so what can we work on just by watching and seeing, hey, this is what we have to do. Let's pull up that.
How did they hear me?
A lot of people will use the map really early on in the round when they spawn in to get information on people. Yeah, they're camping.
She's insane for that.
Yeah, in DM you have the sweats sometimes, or they'll just sit in corners, and listen. Alrighty. Cool.
I heard it, but
Heard it, but it's reacting to what you hear. That's the time that's taken. The DM experience, I'm telling you, it happens all the time. DM is what I use for warm-up, and also gets the frustrations out of the game out early, because you have people camping corners, or maybe they're just insta tapping you. It's like, oh, why am I dying so fast? Actually, I'm gonna mute my game so we aren't hearing double audio.
this raise.
They wanna knife you. Also, their name is Dr. Drunk, so they might not be the most sober. So, about how much mouse space do you have to work with? So I have a
if I were to
general
stretch
idea.
forth my hand, it would be like one pinky to thumb and a half.
Okay, so not that much space.
Yeah.
Okay,
the mouse
that's fine.
pad is pretty big, but
as far as where you can move your mouse.
yeah.
Oh. Okay, gotcha. No, I was just making sure. Because I was looking at your sensitivity earlier, and you have basically double my sensitivity, but you're moving around slower. So I was curious to see what sort of sense you're working with.
10 kills remaining. Dominating.
But I think it's mainly just because limited mouse space, which is fine. It's not a big deal. We can work around it. Get him! Get him! All good. NT.
Thank you.
Of course, of course.
Five kills remaining.
All good. All good. Alrighty, cool. If you want to, we can go ahead and leave the DM. I think I've seen enough, so I can go ahead and start talking about what we're gonna get into. We can go ahead and just leave, and I can open up this. Oops. Team.
Dominating.
There we go. Cool. Okay. Cool. So first of all, have you heard of the program AIM Labs before?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have the AIM Labs?
I have it installed. I tried it out once, but that was before the Valorant setting, I think. I think they came out with the Valorant setting. I haven't tried that.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, go ahead and open AIM Labs, and we'll go ahead and take a look at that. I'll have it pulled up on my screen as well. Let me go ahead and share my screen to you so that way you can see what I'm talking about when I discuss these sort of things. Yeah, you can leave a DM mid-match, actually. Fortunately enough, Valorant was very kind, or the devs were very kind, and they said, you know, we don't want to mess up our oops, I did not want to do that. We don't want to absolutely mess up our players, so when we play these games, we want to make it so that you can leave, because it's sort of meant as a warm-up tool, not necessarily a tool you'll be playing all the time, right? All right, cool. So we can go ahead and open up AIM Labs. Let me know when you have yours open, so that way I can sort of help you navigate around and see what we're looking at. AIM Labs is a very convenient tool for getting down the mechanical skills of FPS games, because A, it's free, so you don't have to pay for it. It's not like you're spending any more money. And B, it allows you to use sensitivities that are one-to-one for the actual game. So anytime you use a sensitivity in this game, or like you know, you can set up a profile that says, hey, this is my Valorant profile, so if I want to practice for Valorant, I can open this up and use the same sensitivity I have on Valorant as I have on like the AIM Labs. So,
all right, mine's is open.
Awesome, cool. Okay, so we're gonna go
Should
ahead.
I stream it?
Sure, yeah, fine. You can stream it.
Okay.
And I will go ahead and quickly show you what we can work with. So first of all, I want you to go to Settings tab. And you can mess around with the crosshair all you want and stuff. We don't really need to worry too much about that just now, though. I would go to audio. This is all personal preference. If you want you can change all the volume settings and stuff. Graphics aren't too big of a deal. But what I would do is go to graphics and then scroll to the bottom, and where it says target destruction FX, turn that off, as well as bullet impact FX, shell casting FX, and muzzle flash FX. I want all of those off. Just
target casting, bullet, and muzzle.
Yeah. If you look at my screen, because I think I'm screen sharing, you can just see the small settings. Cool. Got 1, 2, 3, 4 of them off, and that way it helps. You can also do like low latency, so it is like very good for performance and stuff, and everything else is fine to leave. For visuals, this is all personal preference. I don't really mess with these settings, so I think these are defaults. You can just like move on from this. And then for controls, now here's the important part. You want to make sure that you set your game's profile to Valorant, so it's gonna be at the very bottom. So you'll start up at AIM Labs, you got to scroll all the way down to the very bottom, down by the V's.
Okay.
Yep. And then once you get to V, let me see if you can actually, like, you cannot. Yeah. Once you find Valorant, we can, right here, it's at the very bottom.
Yeah, I got Valorant.
Cool, awesome. And then aspect ratio method, just have 16:9. That's like default pretty much. And then after that, you want to set your sensitivity to what your sensitivity in the game is. It should be 0.51 if I remember correctly from what I saw on your screen, but it might be different. I don't know. Once you find that out,
check it, yeah.
Awesome. Cool, 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 cool.
Yeah, 0.51.
Okay, cool. Yellow, yours is usually 1.3. Wow, that's a high sense. But I guess it depends on the DPI you use.
Hi, Yellow.
Use a low DPI, then hey, maybe you'll be less. Alrighty, cool. So once you have that set up, go to game, and where it says game, you can change any of the settings you want. I have target color set to yellow because that's what I use in Valorant. But if you use something else like red or whatever, then you can leave it at that, just so it's not confusing.
Okay.
Yep. And then that is all you have to do. And then click save changes, and it'll say confirm saved and bring you back to the main menu. And then cool. And from here, what we're gonna go is we're gonna go to where it says search, and we're gonna type in grid shot.
Headshot?
Grid shot, and it'll be all the way down here where grid shot ultimate. So right down here where it says grid shot ultimate, go ahead and click the little heart button by that, and then we can click onto it and click play now.
Okay, grid shot ultimate at the very bottom, you said?
It's not at the very bottom. It should be like towards the top. It'll say grid shot ultimate. A grid shot with like ultimate in brackets. Yeah. And then you can click like the heart next to it just to favorite it, and then click play now at the bottom right. Once you've selected that. Awesome. It feels heavy to move, so I put it on high. Nice. Okay, that makes sense, Stylo. Not bad, not bad. You gonna learn too? Cool. Feel free to join us in this little session. You can follow along if you want. Aim Labs, once again, is free on Steam, so feel free to download it whenever. But for now, we're gonna go ahead and do some grid shot. So you open up grid shot. If you're watching my stream, it'll look like this. You've got a little Glock and you've got some circles around, right? The goal of this exercise is to essentially click the circles, right? As accurately and as fast as you can. When you start out, you want to focus more so on accuracy than speed. So what I would suggest is doing one of the accuracy sessions where you just, take your time, make sure that you click everything, and hit all the shots. And then next after that, we'll go for speed and accuracy, where you try to do it as fast as you can before accuracy. So here.
All right.
It's pretty simple. You just go around, you click the circles. But this is a really good exercise that allows you to work on your reaction time towards, moving your mouse around for the vertical and horizontal axes, right? Because in Valorant has a lot of ups and downs where there's like higher angles and lower angles, right? So doing exercises like this allows you to really practice and say, okay, if somebody's high, you can aim faster up to the higher area. If somebody's lower, then you can aim up or like lower to the lower area.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so go ahead and share your screen. You may.
All right.
Take a look-see. But these are things that I suggest doing at least for 15 minutes a day. If you really want to improve, I would say 10 to 15 minutes. And I have a couple other things that I'll show you on Aim Labs that you can do to sort of help improve your total accuracy in game as well as your reaction time. Because one of the hardest things as a new player to get down is reaction time when it comes to Valorant, because that's something that you have to work on, right? It's muscle memory. It's not something that just comes really easily. It's something that you have to start out low and work your way up to. And because of that, you have to, sort of take your time with it and work your way up. The reason why Aim Labs is such a good program to use for something like this is because it gives you a number statistic to say, oh, I'm improving, or oh, maybe I need to take a break or work on my accuracy or my speed or something like that, because it tracks it, right? It says, okay, it took this much time for you to kill a target, or and you were this accurate overall the entire time. Go ahead and start a match, and I'll just be watching, and we can get started with that. Let's see.
A match in Valorant.
No, on aim lab, sorry, like a grid shot. Yeah. Yep. We're gonna be doing a lot on aim labs before we get over to Valorant.
Okay.
It's almost therapeutic too, right? Because it's like, you know, there's no stressful scenarios. You're just clicking on the little orbs as they go around.
Yeah.
But the overall goal of this is to, you know, work on your reaction time, so that way you can, if you see a target, you can easily, you know, react to it when it's in your field of view. You know, you see someone, oh, I can see them, and confidently try to hit that shot on them.
All right. Nice.
Yeah. Perfect.
Oh, it's better.
Yeah, it's better. See, already improving. Perfect. And that's exactly what we want to see, right? We want to see these small improvements. And of course, when it's something like this, these are sort of tasks you do as a warm-up. So it's how you start your day, and you work up to getting faster and faster, or more accurate, depending on what you're trying to work on. So, you know, this is what you do for a warm-up, you know, whether it's in the morning when you wake up, or if it's right before you play. You want to make sure that you do this at least one time a day and try to build it into your routine, so that way as you start playing more and more, you can say, hey, you know, I can see the effects of trying to do this. Because once again, when it comes to aiming and using like your mouse to point around a cursor, it really is all muscle memory, right? When you move your mouse in a certain direction, eventually you'll expect it to say, hey, how much like room do I have to move to go from point A to point B on my mouse, right? Or like on my computer. So if I go like this, you know, trying to go from like point A to point B, so it really just depends on how much time you want to give it. If you're wanting to like really improve and like steadily improve, like I said, building this into your morning routine, or just a routine in general. I say morning routine because it makes it easy so that you can build it into like something normally you do. For most people, you know, when you wake up, it's like, oh, I wake up, I get up, I use the restroom, brush my teeth, whatever, maybe take a shower, and then I get dressed, right? That's pretty standard. And then maybe eat breakfast or whatever. Well, in that, you know, build this in somewhere. You know, you take your shower after you get dressed, you know, hop on the computer for a little bit, do like 5-10 minutes of aim labs. And that way, not only are you helping build that muscle memory, but also helps you wake up a little bit, right? Because in the morning, oh, we're groggy, you know, we're sleepy and stuff. And so doing something like an exercise like this in the morning can really help, you know, wake you up and get your day started.
Because you got to focus, yeah.
Exactly. It gives you something to focus on before you have a more important task, for example, work or school or something like that. So cool. Alrighty. So here, we're going to go ahead and replay the task. Do it again, and I want you to just try to go as quick as you can. Don't necessarily worry too much about accuracy, but try to be as quick and concise as you possibly can. So for example, if you see on my screen, I'll just show you what this looks like. So I'm not trying to go for accuracy, but I am trying to go for speed, right? So I'm trying to click on it as, need for speed, right? So we're gonna go as quick as we can, and if I miss, it's okay, just readjust and go back for it. Now, the one thing you'll notice is that when you go as fast as you can, you won't necessarily be accurate. But it will get you used to what happens if you need to make a really quick movement, right?
Yeah.
So trying to go as quick as possible and just clicking as many as you can. And this is just to see like sort of base, okay, how many can I shoot in such like a small period of time, right? Because if you take your time, let's say we go like this and we really make sure that we hit our shots, right? You're not necessarily going to get as many if you go as fast as you possibly can, right? So the goal of this right here is just to see, okay, how many can we get in the shortest period of time, regardless of our accuracy. So that way we can try, you know, coordinating and seeing, okay, how fast can we go? How slow can we go? That sort of deal. So here, I'll go ahead,
Okay.
back up, and I'll just take a second and watch what you're doing. See how it goes.
Restart?
Yeah, just restart.
Alright, Need for Speed.
Awesome. Need for Speed.
I feel like I'm undershooting a lot.
Yeah, that's fine.
I think the term is.
Yeah, and that's fine. Right now, we're just trying to, determine, say, hey, okay, so what can we do to get the fastest reaction time we can? All right, let's see. So if we look and we compare to what happened last time. So last time you shot 128 shots and hit 125 shots, right?
Mm-hmm.
This time when you're trying to go as fast as you could, you shot 169 shots but only managed to hit 129. So what does that tell you? What does that tell you?
That going too fast, I'm not used to it yet.
Well, I mean, there's that, but I think even before that, one of the things you should realize is that, speed
makes less accuracy.
Yeah, speed will generally, if you're trying to go as fast as you can, you might not always land your shot. So in the case that you have to go, like do some sort of fast movement in order to hit a shot, you have to see, okay, how fast am I going? What am I trying to do to hit the shot, and how important is it that I do this as fast as I can? If you can take your time with it, regardless of what sort of a game you're playing, patience will always bring another level of accuracy when it comes to these sorts of things. Because as you saw, you only hit 4 more than you did last time, even though you're going as fast as you could. So that's just something to take into mind and sort of look at and say, okay, so if I'm going fast, you want to like slow it down a little bit and try to take your time over speed, right? You want to go for accuracy over speed.
Right, accuracy over speed.
Yeah. So here we're gonna go to a different task. So here we're gonna go to search, and we're gonna type in spider shot. And it should be like the 5th one down. It's called Spider Shot Ultimate. It says improve.
Spider Shot Ultimate. Okay.
Yeah. It says improve spatial performance. And then once again, same thing. You're gonna favorite that and then click play now. Go ahead here. Let's see. Oh, you can go to training. It makes it easier to see. Go to training and then type search at the top. And then you can go to spider shot. It should be like yeah, that's it. Click the little heart button to it and then click on it and click play now. Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect. Alright, so once again, I just want you to watch my screen, and this is essentially what spider shot is. Fortunately enough, it gives a nice example of what it looks like, right? So you have one in the center, you go out and then inwards again, and out and inwards again. So this is working on your reaction time to further targets and what's called flicking, right? So flicking is how fast you can go away from, let's say, looking at point A to hitting another target at point B. And this one is really like the best test, in my opinion, to see, okay, how much how accurate can I be in reacting to a new target popping up. I think this is probably one of the best exercises to get better with your overall reaction time, as well as keeping your accuracy up during that period of time, because this really makes you look at every corner of the screen, right? You have to move from one edge to the next. So we're gonna have you do this in just a second. Oops. And another thing about this is that if you do not shoot the target in a certain period of time, it'll actually disappear. So you have to make sure you hit, so you have to make sure that you correctly hit the target. And that's why this sort of gaming is or this one is like a better way to practice and make sure that you get the accuracy up. The spider shot is just to make sure, okay, it's, or excuse me, grid shot, the one we did last time, was just to practice your speed and cognition, and make sure that you could properly move your mouse between the objects in a orderly fashion, so that way you can build that muscle memory. This one does the same sort of situation where you're building muscle memory. However, it really focuses on making sure that you're able to hit those shots within that period of time, as well as being at a very off angle from what's like normal. So with grid shot, you have these targets that are right next to each other, and here you have a target that's very far away and very close. Hey Mark, how's it going? We're doing some Valorant trading right now. Valorant coaching. Cool. Alrighty, so go ahead and give it a whirl if you'd like. I would say that obviously, like I said last time, accuracy is greatly appreciated over speed, right? You don't want to go too fast because you may miss your shot. However, with this, you have to sort of take into account, okay, how long do I have before this target will go away, right? So you want to do it as accurate as you can, but also as not hasty, but as quick as you can, right?
Yes.
Let's go ahead and see it.
All right.
Nice, perfect, cool.
Yay.
Now you can see that's a lot harder than the last one, right?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it's a lot more difficult. You have to really take your time, focus in, work from target to target to try to work your way across the screen. It's a lot, more. I wouldn't say advanced. What's the word I'm looking for? It takes, I guess difficult. It is difficult. But you're more so, like I said, looking for that speed and accuracy as a combination. So this one really tests your how well you can use your hand-eye coordination to sort of make those targets or hit those targets. Cool. So we're gonna go ahead and do another one. Those, feel free to go ahead and do another. And this is just a good way to get warmed up, like I said, and also gives you a sort of better idea. Okay, what can I do to sort of improve, right? So last time, you hit so many targets, so let's try to beat that score. See if we can. Perfect. Already improved score. You might have lost a little bit of accuracy, but at the end of the day, your speed increased there, right? You see the time to kill is higher and the score went down. Now, another cool thing about this application is if you click on insights, actually tell you what sort of weaknesses you could work on. So right here, it says, you know, right side weakness, left side weakness. And if you click on advanced, you can see each individual portion of the screen and where you had issues shooting those targets, right? So for example, for you had problems with like the bottom right and then the bottom left and upper right, which makes sense because they're further away from the center of the screen, right? So you had to really go for that flick in order to hit that target. It's cool. But yeah, nice. This is a really good program. It really helps to learn and figure out, okay, how can I get better? Because obviously you have a score, right? So if you continue to try to improve that score, you'll automatically be improving your hand-eye coordination, especially if you build it into a sort of routine throughout the day. Cool. So we're gonna go ahead and click exit real quick, and I'll go ahead and look at some other ones. And there's a lot of different programs or like tests that they have in Valorant, and these are just a few of the ones I like. So I also use the Valorant Ascent Microflex, and you should be able to just type in I think just Valorant Ascent, and it should pop up. There's that one. This one's really good. It's essentially the same thing as Grid Shot, but really tiny objects in a sort of fashion that matches the Ascent A site in Valorant.
You said awesome. Ascent A site?
Yeah, it says Valorant Ascent Microflex, but this is the like A site of Ascent in the actual game. So if you look at the corner, it like replicates what that looks like, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this one's really good because it allows you to practice getting those really small adjustments, because like we saw earlier with Spider Shot is really wide, right? So you're going from point A to point B really far across the screen. Or here and with Microflex, it's very tiny, right? So you have a very small window of where the other objects are going to be, and so adjusting to that to change like where your crosshair is a different set of muscles than what goes from like the further distance. So here we can go and practice that round now. Just take a look at that, see how this looks. You can go ahead and do this. Oops. So just to give an example. Yeah, so you look, it's like very small. It's a very small area, right? So you see how it's like taking a different sort of level of adjustment as compared to the wider angles, right?
Yeah. I guess this uses the forearm muscles more.
Yeah, definitely. I guess it really just depends on how you aim. So for me, like the last one with Spider Shot, because of the aim style that I have, it takes a lot more of like my my arm than my wrist to hit those shots. But here, this is more so like using my fingers to adjust for these small things, like the tips of my fingers, as well as like a little bit of my wrist to help adjust for these small tinier angles. Yeah. Yep. But it can really give help when you're trying to get those smaller, really quick adjustments, right? Where you're going from like a small section to try to hit these quick shots. Another training that I do, it's called Microshot. It's essentially the same thing, but without the ascent. It's more so like a small version of Grid Shot, right? Except the more you shoot them, the further away the targets get.
Is it micro or macro?
Yeah. Micro Shot Ultimate. It's the fifth one down on your page. Yeah. You take a look at my screen here. It starts out nice and big, right? Then as you go, it gets smaller and smaller, simulating distance, as well as being in a very small like area. So it's like it doesn't go outside of this small little grouping. The idea is to be able to quickly adjust to the smaller adjust miss, right?
Nice.
Yeah. And this one does the same thing as the last one, but it's more of a, I guess, straightforward practice, right? You don't have a sense or a background. There's less things in the way to distract you. So it's just A, B, A, B. Awesome. Cool. Awesome. Very cool, very cool. Now the nice thing about aim labs as well is it actually gives you like a sort of calendar on the home menu to see how much you've played, unless they changed where it's located. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Yeah, you click on your profile at the top right, and then it'll bring up, okay, your training frequency, how frequently you use the app, just to sort of see, oh, this is how much I've used it. Maybe should I do more, should I do less, that sort of idea. So if you continue to do this, like, 15 times a day, you can continue to improve and get on top of like where you want to be, right? Another nice thing is it also gives you like little badges and stuff to see, oh yeah, I'm in the top whatever percent for these sort of strategies, which are pretty fun. And then the last one we're gonna do before we end aim labs is the circle track. Circle track ultimate.
Okay.
Yep. And this is the one I hate the most because it's actually pain to do.
Dang.
So essentially, within Valorant and other FPS games, you have to do a lot of tracking, right? Where your mouse follows the target. And so essentially what this one does is instead of shooting, all you're doing is trying to trace this object with your mouse.
Oh, this does look like a pain.
Yes, it is a pain, but it really helps. It really helps. Getting on top of it and making sure that you follow this target can really, really help you with improving your aim. Because it's one thing to be able to flick around and hit headshots, right? It's another thing if you have to spray somebody down that's moving sporadically, or hit a shot on an object that's moving sporadically, right? So doing these tracing sort of things can really help get you ahead of the game and figure out, okay, what can I do? Ooh, that one's moving so fast.
Right? Like, why is it going so quickly?
They also strafe and stuff. Makes it hard to keep up with, but it keeps you on your toes, right? Just say, oh, if they go right and left, then you have to flick right and left. Oh my goodness. Yeah, you need this one. I do too, man. I do too. This is by far the bane of my existence. I can click circles all day, but being able to trace and stuff is really, really hard. People who are good at stuff like this play Osu and that sort of idea. I'm really bad at rhythm games, but alrighty. Yeah, you can see how much of a pain that is, right? It works though. It really does help, right? Even like just now, you can see that I improved my score from last time. Yeah, go ahead and do that again so you can see. Nice. Yeah, nice. So you can see sort of how it feels, what you need to do. You saved all of them. Perfect. Yeah. Yep. And like I said, I would do this at least like 10 to 15 minutes a day. You don't have to do all of the practices if you don't want to, but at least do like the core ones. So grid shot, spider shot, and microflex. I would say the tracing one is only if you really absolutely are like trying to get warmed up for the game. And the worst part about it is it goes behind you, right? And then it resets in the very front, back where you were originally looking, so.
This feels like Tom and Jerry somehow.
Doesn't it? Doesn't it? Good show, by the way. Good show. Awesome. Grind circle track and spice shot.
Like
Perfect.
The sense of like getting your ankles broken in basketball.
Exactly. When it trips you up, it's like, oh my god. Oh
yeah.
No way. Oh, so we're gonna put this to the ground for now. You can go ahead and close out of Aim Labs. Feel free to close it. And we'll hop back into Valorant. Cool. Alrighty. So going back into the range, we're gonna go back into the shooting range. We are going to do some more practices just to, you know, sort of get ourselves on the same page and see what we can do to improve. So it's loading because for whatever reason the range takes 5 years to pick up on.
Factual.
Okay, so we're just gonna click whatever character, go to practice. Alrighty, so for this we're going to essentially be doing the same thing that we were doing. Let me go. Where is it? There we go. So for this practice, essentially what we're gonna be doing is we're going to be doing the same thing that we're doing with that circle shot. Except we're going to be incorporating movement in with something called counter strafing. So do you know how to counter strafe, and have you heard of the term?
I've heard of counter strafing, but like I don't know how to differentiate it from regular strafing.
Okay, so regular strafing is let me find the right funny crosshair. Here we go. So regular strafing is just the idea of going like right to left, right, to sort of increase your movement. You'll see a lot of people doing this while you're moving around, like bee hopping or something, when they're just doing stuff like this. And the idea of strafing is like, okay, strafing to the right is when you go in a right motion, and strafing to the left is when you go in a left motion. So you go.
Could you please share your screen?
Oh shoot, my bad. Yes. I forgot because I closed Valorant.
You're good.
Oh, cool. Alrighty. Let me know when you can see that.
I see it.
Alright, so strafing right is, you know, when you're going to the right, and strafing left is going to the left. Same thing when you're just moving. So strafe right, strafe left. Instead of just going straight forward. So essentially what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be looking at what counter strafing is. And what counter strafing is the idea of using strafes to counter out your movement. For example, if you can see here my crosshair, and I'm gonna go actually increase the size of it so that you can see the the movement air better. So we're gonna do line thickness, that, there we go. Also line length. So you see those outer edge circles when I move, or not circles, but rectangles when I move around, right? At the edge of my crosshair. This signifies movement air. And what movement air is in Valorant is whenever I'm moving like this, if I start shooting, it will go to the outside of those, like the furthest the bullets will go are to the outside of that, like outer edge of the crosshair. So in Valorant, the idea is you want it to be like not moving, right? You don't want to have any movement here.
Right.
Even when you're walking. So if I walk here, you can see the movement air is like along the outside of the crosshair. So the most ideal situation is having it so that you have no movement air. The idea of counter strafing is when you're moving in one direction. So let's say I'm holding the D key right now. By clicking the opposite key, you stop your movement, right? So if I click D, if I go D and then click A, my movement stops and goes back to 0.
Like you're holding D and then you suddenly press A.
Yeah. That's actually that's a better description of it. Yeah. So if you're holding D, let go and hit A, right? That'll stop your movement completely, and that's what counter strafing is. And it's a pretty easy thing to understand, but putting it into application is the hard part. So it's like you're holding A, let go A, hit D, and then you stop your movement. Or holding D, let go of D, hit A, and you stop your movement. And that's counter strafing. So you're hitting the opposite strafe key in order to stop the movement and stop what you're doing, right? And this can be used in a plethora of different ways. But for now, we're gonna just look at a very simple topic, or a simple practice of it. So we're gonna be, you know, following this guy along while we're moving one direction, and then counter strafing to shoot them and take them out, right?
Okay.
You see that if I don't counter strafe, if I don't wait to shoot, and I go for a shot, it's going to, okay, that's a bad example. It's gonna miss, right? Or if I try doing it like too early, it's gonna miss, right? Because you see that it doesn't close all the way. You want to make sure that when you do it, it's fully closed. Alrighty, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull up your screen once again.
Should I adjust my crosshair? Because it doesn't do the opening thing.
Oh, no. I mean, that's all preference. The opening thing is just if you want to see the movement error. Generally, and it's better for me to explain it, right? Makes it easier to explain. Generally, I think if you're in practicality when you do this, you're gonna be just like, you know, using a normal crosshair anyways. So I think for starting out though, it might be a good idea to have it. So go ahead and go to your crosshair settings. So crosshair, nice, and then go to primary, which is primary. And then scroll down to the outer lines where it says outer lines, and we're going to turn the opacity on that up. Just turn it to 1. So where it says opacity, you're gonna slide that all the way over to 1, so it's solid. And then you're going to turn off firing air. The firing air goes off, and then movement air goes on. Yep, and then you can change the movement air. Actually, the movement air is fine there. So now when you go back, if you close the settings, now you see those, like, there's lines on the outside of your crosshair, right? And when you move, if you move with your gun out, you'll see that they spread out, right? So when those lines are at their resting position, and you can change the offset of them if you want it so that they're more on the crosshair, like the normal crosshair, so it's not like there's a gap between your normal crosshair. So if you want, you can go to your crosshair settings again. I hate movement error. Yeah, I do too. Everyone does. That's why Apex is so much fun. You can go back down there. And it's true. And then you can turn line offset lower. So you see how it says line offset 10? Set that to like 4 or something like that. And now you'll see that on your crosshair, the lines are sort of inside the crosshair. And when you move, it goes out, right? So
I like this. I might keep this.
Yeah, go ahead. Perfect. I mean, it's all preference once again. You know, everyone has their own thing that they use. For example, oh wait, I meant to have that at 8. I meant to turn the thickness down. So everyone has their own thing. And personally, when I play, I don't have any movement error. But when you're getting to start out, you know, having that movement error can really help understand, okay, when am I, you know, fully stopped? When can I start shooting? Because you don't want to start shooting before that that movement error is completely gone. Because if you start shooting before it's done, then you have to go into spray and it becomes complicated, and you have to like try to follow that spray pattern. It can get really messy. So that you want to, you know, yeah. So when you're moving, you want to like hit the other key. And another good example to like figure out when to shoot is just to give yourself a second before you actually shoot. So like wait and then shoot, right? That way you can sort of practice and say, hey, I'm like fully stopped moving, right? And you can visually see, oh, I fully stopped moving. And that way you can practice doing that. So here, let's see. Apex made me walk away from gunfights in Valorant. Yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, I completely understand that. Because you click the shift key expecting to run away, and now you're walking, and now you're sad. Alrighty, so let's see your screen. Yeah, perfect. You can even give yourself a little bit more distance, but right now you see how you were missing some shot stars because you were shooting a little too early. Little too early. Perfect. Perfect. Now the real challenge is trying to trace right now. So right now, right, you have your crosshair at head level and you're just going back and forth, getting the counter strafing down, right? So now what you want to do is grab choose a random target. So let's say that guy that's on the furthest left, right? And now I want you to back up a little away from him. That guy on the farthest left. Yep, back a little bit a ways, and then try to circle him while keeping your crosshair on his head. And then when you want to, counter strafe and headshot him. This is a really good practice to get warmed up in the morning. I mean, after you've done your aim lab routine, because this way you can be like, okay, how can I apply what I just did in aim labs to the game? And that way I can, keep as consistent as possible. Yep, just, choose a random target, go about it. And then whenever you feel like it, take it out. And the biggest issue when it comes to counter strafing is people jump the gun. So for example, you saw there you shot before you actually stopped moving, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you want to make sure that when you do this, you're completely standing still, and that way you can easily shoot. And one good way to do that is by paying attention to your gun. So if you have your crosshair on their head and you can use your peripherals to look at the gun, when you move, you can see your Vandal sway from right to left, right? So your Vandal would be swaying in a direction. When that Vandal is done swaying, you can see it goes to a very straightforward position, right? You can see in the middle there when you're doing that AD, you can see it hit a sort of a point where it's straightforward. In that period where it's straightforward, that is when you can shoot perfectly. See? And it goes straight to the center of your crosshair. Cool. So just do that for a little bit. Try to, get that down. Practice. You don't get the chance to be sad because I'm dead. Die low. I get it. I get it. Nice. Perfect.
As I'm strafing, am I tracking their head the entire time?
Yeah, you want to make sure that you're tracking their head the entire time. So if you're looking at my screen here, I can show you what this looks like. You want to, when you're walking around them, you want to make sure that your crosshair's on their head the whole time and try to keep it consistent as possible. That way you don't have any error in between where you might, potentially miss their head. Because the whole idea of this is to keep, you want to make sure, this helps you keep your crosshair at that head level and practice keeping it at that head level while also doing tracing as well as counter strafing, right? Because when it comes to a lot of lower level players, one of the biggest issues they have is not aiming at the head level. If you're aiming anywhere below, it takes way more shots to kill somebody than just clicking on that head, right? So making sure that you practice and get into that sort of head level area can really, really help when shooting these bots.
So I'm just gonna isolate a bot.
Yep, just oh, that'll respawn all of them. Here, actually, this, what we can do here? Go ahead and exit this way that you can have an isolated target. Go ahead and exit. We'll do something because I do this with my my other campers I work with as well. This way, you can have a better experience with a more individualized sort of environment. So we're gonna turn all these things on. We'll set it to Pearl, and then we can.
Hey, Pearl.
Yeah, we can explore the beautiful map. Now this map's gorgeous.
I haven't tried it out yet.
It is inside of me. Because I'm like the water and everything, right?
Oh, like Atlantis.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
I'm sitting here thinking, hello.
I'm like, what? What does he mean? Does armor affect damage to the head? It does. It does. However, if you have a Vandal or another sort of weapon that deals 150 damage to headshot, it doesn't matter if they have armor or not, they're going to die. In the Ryusi? Yes, in the Ryusi. God. Jesus Christ.
Fight well.
Oh.
Bro.
All right, let me turn on the cheats and stuff, and I'll turn on auto respawn. Cool. Here, you can follow me. We're gonna go to the center of the map. You guys need to eat soap, I see. True. All right, follow me. We'll go to the center of the map.
Oh, I'm on 1K ping, by the way. So.
Oh, okay. We'll take our time. We'll take our time. Go down. Awesome. Do you play wired connection or wireless?
Wireless connection.
Okay. I know it can be hard, but having a wired connection can really help. You know, with that. So we're just gonna use this here, right? This is a perfect area. It's a nice circle, so you can walk around in a good area and also test with different levels, right? So if you want to, you can, you know, try getting up here and be like, okay, how does a headshot look from here? But essentially, I'm just gonna stand here in the center. I want you to go around, and I'll pull up your view on Discord as well, so I can see how it looks, and just practice with this, you know, counter strafe movement. And I have auto respawn, so you can kill me as many times as you need. Oh, hold on, wait, let me make sure. Let me switch my team. There we go. Now you can kill me as many times as you need.
Oh, nice.
Perfect. Yep. And so this is going to allow you to practice on a, you know, individualized target, while also, you know, working on the counter strafing. And after we're done with counter strafing, we're going to get into a different type of not different type of counter strafing, but there's a technique using counter strafing and movement called dancing, and we'll get into that in a little bit. 1K. I wish I had 1K right now. I did too. Not ping. True. But yeah, dancing. It's a super OP technique that's used in Valorant, especially at the high level, that can allow for you to continue moving while basically in a firefight, to make it so you're harder to hit, as well as make it so that the enemy has to readjust their crosshair to shoot at you. Nice. Yep. And now what? Oh, I wouldn't. Well, hold on, wait. Does Prime get rid? Yes, Prime. That's fine. You can use that. I was thinking, because some weapons leave a thing that stays on the ground, and I don't want to have things just like flying everywhere, right? Or like floating in the air. Because when you execute somebody, sometimes they have like this big thing that flies in the air, right?
Oh, right.
Dancing,
yeah, depending on the skin.
Jet scary. Yeah, dancing jet scary. True, Dilo. True.
I love the disco one. Yes,
the disco one is fun. I have that skin as well, but I specifically unequipped it so that way we could do this sort of activity. Cool. Yep, just keep walking around me and keep practicing. And then if you want to, in a second, we can move to a longer range angle. That way you can work on a further distance of going just back and forth.
When you strafe, are you using the W key or just A and D?
Just A and D, because strafing, essentially what yeah, so strafing is just like the movement of A and D, right? And so if you hold A and D, you can, while moving your mouse, go around a target. So this is just me using the D key or A key. Hold on. So if I use the D key, I can go in a circle, right? If I trace something in the center. You can use the A key, right? The A key is fine if you use. Make sure that when you let go of that too, when you do certain movement, right? Because counter strafing is the idea of going right to left, and you can technically counter strafe going with like the other keys, but it gets real complicated if you do that. So the better idea is if you're like holding W and like a key, to just let go of the W key before you hit the other one. So
okay.
Yeah. Cool. The biggest part is trying to keep your crosshair on the player, right? I think that's the hardest part you're having right now. So that could either be that your sensitivity is too low, which means that either A, you're not used to it, or B, it's just lower than what would be necessarily good for you. Try upping it to, yeah, that's fine, like 6.6 is fine, or 0.66, excuse me. And then just try doing the same thing and see if it's easier to keep that crosshair on it, which it looks like it's a little bit easier, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a little easier.
Yeah, and then you can, if you need more or less sensitivity, then you can go back and adjust that as needed. Perfect. Nice. Yeah, let's move to a more wide area. Actually, this will make it easier. We'll go back to the attacker side spawn if you just follow me. That way you're not running into things. This is a lot wider, right? So I'll just grab the bomb and throw it in a corner. That way you can just walk around in a very big area. Perfect. Now you won't be running into any objects while you try doing this. So many bodies. Yeah, and that's another reason to move. You know, we don't have to see all the bodies lying on the ground. Perfect. Oh, I think you're lagging. I think you're lagging.
Yeah, I am lagging a little bit.
Yeah, all good. One of the ways that you can see, if you hit escape and go to video and then stats, what I like to do is I like to tick on text only for client FPS. And then I do packet loss, I do show both. And then packet loss and total, I do text only. And where's ping? I don't usually show ping, but you can also show yeah, it's all the way at the bottom.
And packet loss total.
I do text only. Text only, yeah. And then you can also do where is it? Actually, that's fine. So what this allows you to see is it allows you to see your ping at the top, or not your ping, but your FPS, and then also you can see the total packet loss. Which what packet loss is when you communicate with the server, you're sending something called a packet, which is essentially a like a group of information, right? And if a bit of that information is lost, it can cause lag. So for example, if you look at the top of your screen, you have like 300 something packets lost already, right? Or 600. Actually,
Ayo.
That's a lot of packet loss, but
yeah.
That's unfortunate. That could be causing some performance issues as well. That is more so an internet issue and not so much like your holy 400 ping. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Yeah, high ping can cause issues for sure. What server do you normally play on? Here we can go.
Oh, I'm sorry. What was it?
I think it's set to Georgia here. Yeah, this is Georgia, so.
Yeah, this is like, cause I'm in Florida, so this is the right like server for me, but my ping just be like that because it's Wi-Fi.
Gotcha. Do you know if you have an Ethernet cable that you can plug into your modem, or?
I do have one, thanks to Dilo, but with my router right now, it's like there's a whole bunch of stuff plugged into it already, like because we have a bunch of electronics. So to game, I guess I'll have to unplug one of them first, and then connect my PC.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I would definitely look into that, because that can definitely remove a lot of this connectivity issue that you're having. Because even over Discord, I can see like the quality drop, and I'm like, oh, she's lagging, and I see it in game, you're just walking off into space. Well, cool. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna go over is the different types of firing when it comes to shooting, right? And here I can give you this gun if you'd like to check it out. It's a new skin. It's pretty cool. Quick round right there. Nice. Very neat. Yeah, and if you inspect it, it does like a really cool animation. Yeah, very cool. Okay, but yeah, so there's two types of firing, right? There's or three types technically. So you have the classic tap firing where you do like one shot at a time, right, to make sure that you hit your shot. There's burst firing, which is really good, and you're gonna want to pick up the Vandal or something like that. Burst firing. Essentially what burst firing is in Valorant, with most of the weapons in the game, the first 2 to 3 shots will always be in the same spot. If you pull down a little bit, right? If you do burst fire, you can see they're all like really closely knit, and they don't really go too far out. So burst firing is one of the most effective types of shooting in the game, and you can use this at pretty much any range, because there's different effective groups of shooting, right? So long range shooting, like tapping, is really good for long range, or if you're holding an angle, right? Because if you like wait for them to walk out of a doorway or something, you can just sort of tap them as they come out of the doorway. So there's tap, burst, which is that 2 to 3 round burst, and this is like once again like some of the most effective uses of shooting, because you can implement this with counter strafing, which is what we call dancing. When you incorporate burst firing with counter strafing to keep really accurate in a tightly knit, this is what dancing is called. And the reason why is because if you shoot with somebody and you keep doing a movement like that where you're going back and forth and keeping your burst, it really makes it easy for you to get kills, and also make it so that they're a little bit more messed up with their aim. So that's the second type, and then the third type is just spraying, which is when you do your magazine, you try to follow a spray pattern, right? And that can be the hardest. Not necessarily the best, but definitely the hardest, because controlling the spray pattern of, let's say, the Vandal is a lot harder than doing something with like the Phantom, where the Phantom you can really easily spray out a couple bullets.
Do you make a habit out of crouching to control the pattern, or no?
So that is actually a habit that comes from CS:GO, right? So when it comes to CS:GO, crouching in CS when you shoot like this actually makes it so that you have less recoil. In Valorant, however, it is not necessarily the case. You don't get too much recoil, like less recoil than you would normally. So just standing straight up and down is usually the best option. There is what we call tactical crouching. So if you do something like this, where let's say you come out of a corner, so you just stay where you are. If I go like this, right, and I swing out and crouch like that, it makes it so that if you were aiming at head level, you have to readjust, right, to where I was. Or if I'm in the middle of a firefight, just going like shooting at you, and like tap and crouch every once in a while can really help me so I don't get headshot. But yeah, but like doing something like this where you just sort of like, as soon as you see someone crouch, this is a habit you don't want to do, because this is a really bad habit to get into. Because one of the things about crouching is it limits your mobility, right? So if you try like shooting and then walking away, you can really just sort of like hightail it out of there, right? You can shoot and take a couple of shots and get out really easily. But if you go and you start shooting and then you crouch, you can't really move very easily for a bit of time, right? You're sort of stuck in that position. When you crouch, you're committing to that fight. That's the sort of example I like to say when people crouch. You're committing to the fight. And if you commit to the fight, it's very easy for somebody else to just tap on the head when you're crouched, right? So for example, if I crouch right now, let's say I'm doing this, if I'm moving like this, try to shoot me like by a tap, right? Just try tapping me. This is what dancing is, right? This is what dancing is like. It makes it so it's really hard for you to hit that shot, right? Because you have to constantly adjust, and this is why dancing is so OP. Because while I'm doing this, I can like put a shot in between, right, and start shooting back. So that compared to something like this, where I see you and I go like this, I start shooting. It's really easy to just hit a shot like that. And if I get shot, for example, like shoot my body, if I try moving away, it slows me down because of the damage. Because when you take damage in Valorant, it slows down the player movement. So there's that.
Taking damage slows you down too?
Yeah, so here, go ahead and I'm gonna turn on invulnerability. So that way I don't take any damage, and I can just show you an example. So go ahead and try shooting me. You see how slow I get when I'm like getting shot? I have my knife out, right? This is what normal movement is like.
Yeah.
Normal movement is like, when you shoot me, I'll try moving. It almost makes me like sort of walk, right? So you can see it makes it a lot easier for you to just shoot at me, right? Grenades, fortunately enough, don't do the same effect, so that'll just explode.
Oh.
But
okay.
if you get shot by bullets, it automatically slows you down. So here, like, you can pull out a classic and try shooting me with a classic. Even like a small bullet like that still does the same effects where it slows me down. You see I'm like walking and it slows me down a lot, especially if I'm holding a gun, right? I get really, really slow, especially if the gun's really heavy, right? So I get really, really slowed with this.
Ah.
Yo, Red, thank you so much for the Prime sub. Appreciate it. Welcome, homie. You can see your emote in full Prime. I got that working up. Let me see where it is. Where is it? Look at it. He's wiggling. Yeah, thanks for the Prime sub. Welcome. We're doing some Valorant training. Yeah. Fortunately enough, only gunshots really slow you down. So if you shoot me with a gunshot, I get really slowed. And so that's why crouching when you fight is really bad, because now look at the movement I have, right? I am like a turtle. I'm stuck, right? If you shoot me while I'm crouching, or if I try to go from crouching to standing up, like if you're shooting me, I'm like really, really stuck in that spot. There's no movement. Whereas if I'm dancing, let's say I'm doing this, right? And I'm moving back and forth. Not only am I harder to shoot, but I can easily try to take a shot on you while I'm doing this, right? So we're gonna go ahead and practice that. So we're gonna, practice dancing. So what I'm gonna do, go ahead and go to cheats, the cheat tab, and turn on auto respawn. So that way you automatically respawn. I'm gonna go ahead and restart the round just so that we have no bodies left over everywhere. And I will
tap the cheat tab.
Yeah, hit escape. It's at the very top right.
Ah, okay. Turn on, off, auto respawn. I forgot the instructions. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so no, you can just turn on auto respawn. Yep. And then also as a useful tool, go to at the top of it where it says ghost, and set J to that bind. So that way when you hit J, you can ghost around like this and make movement really easily. So you can go across the map.
Oh, that's how they do it.
Yeah, so you do ghost, and that way you can zip across the map. We can go over, let's say, to this longer fight range, and then you hit J again to disable it. Let's see where you are.
I lost
there
you
you
somewhere.
Oh, hit J again, and then just fly directly backwards. You see me on the map now. I'm on your team. Oh, you were outside of the zone. Here.
Oh.
Here you go. Hi. Right here. Hit J and follow me. It makes moving around the map pretty convenient, right? So we can just go around here and do these sorts of things. All right, cool. So now what we're gonna do is we're just going to make sure you don't necessarily need to buy armor, but take a classic, or you can just use your classic. It doesn't matter what we use. But the whole idea of this practice, let me go ahead and pull you up on Discord again so that way everyone can see, is we're going to practice dancing. So I'm going to give my example. So let me switch teams so that way you can actually deal damage to me, and we're just gonna go to different like distances, right? So the whole idea is to trace, right? And while we're dancing, we're taking shots at each other, right? So we're trying to hit those headshots, right? So that way we can, make use of that. It can be difficult with the classic because of how the classic shoots. If you want to, we can use a gun like the... Let's see if I have a gun that I can use. Honestly, I'll just keep using the classic, but you can use whatever weapon you want, whether it's the sheriff, whether it's something else. So I'm gonna shit my crosshair here. Yep. And that way, we're gonna be just dancing, so that way we're gonna keep moving, trying to hit those shots to make sure that... Here. Oh, I think you're lagging. I think you're lagging. Uh-oh. Oh my god, you're very much still lagging. Oh my god,
is it
700 ping. 700 ping. I think you're good now.
Ayo, am I moving?
Yeah, you're moving. I'm moving. Cool. Okay. Yeah, we're good.
In a sensible way?
Yep. Cool, awesome. Okay, so essentially what we're gonna be doing here is I'm just gonna, keep moving at first. And I want you to try counter strafing and hitting that headshot while I'm doing the dancing. And this is why you'll see dancing so OP. Because if I'm moving in this sort of fashion, it makes it really hard for you to hit a shot, right? Especially that headshot. Sort of like that circle tracing. Remember how like that orb was going like right and then went like randomly left, right? And And that sort of pattern of movement with strafing can be really hard to deal with, right? It can be really hard to shoot at. And that's why dancing is really good, because if you have a rifle, so you can go ahead and, let's say, use a vandal. Do the burst fire. So remember, burst fire is like 2 to 3 shots or so. So essentially every time you counter strafe, you're gonna want to do like 3 bursts and then move and 3 bursts again. And that makes it so that it's really easy for you to try getting a kill. Nice. So even if you don't hit the headshot here, right, it only takes 4 shots to the body to kill. Now the ideal moment is, you know, you hit that headshot, right? Because if you hit the headshot, you know, it's like very easy to get that kill, right? Oh my god, I can see the lag on your screen. Holy smokes. I'm like teleporting around for you.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Maybe like that.
Yikes. That definitely can cause issues in game. And make it harder for you to play, of course. So I think after this lesson, definitely getting that fixed would help for future reference. But yeah.
Alright, thank you.
Yep. So yeah, let's go. Keep on trying. Keep practicing. You know what might actually help, just for the sake of this here. Let's go back. We'll leave this match just so that way it's, you know, less laggy for you. So go ahead and leave the game. Whew. And then we'll go into the practice mode. You just go practice shooting range. Awesome. And then once we're in this, we'll go over to the practice firing area. And I have a really cool way to make it so that all of the bots are on one side of the board. So essentially when you get to this area, right? If you kill all the bots on one side, eventually they start respawning on the other side of the map. So then you have an isolated bot. What we can do is we can click F3 and go to strafe. And now the bots will be moving around. So you have a partner to practice dancing with, right? You can just choose a bot, you know, dance around with them. And then when you feel like it, try to shoot them after you've danced. Or you can just do it as quickly as you possibly can, right? So you're dancing and just trying to go for those headshots. And like I said, so hitting those headshots are pretty imperative to this, right? You want to hit the headshot as fast as you can. Because that is, you know, obviously in Valorant, the headshot, A, deals the most damage, and B, if you have a rifle that has, you know, is either a Vandal or a Guardian or even a Phantom up close, you're going to be able to kill them with one-tap headshot. So that's why using that headshot and making sure you hit those shots is really, really important. So yeah, you have it strafing. Let me see. Yep, you have them strafing. So just choose one target to just try to practice with, and then once you're good with dancing, you can try taking the shot and hitting that shot. Nice. You see how the strafe movement, right? It's hard to readjust, right? And that's why doing, you know, that circle practice on aim labs, as well as just grid shot in general, or aim labs in general, can really help with following these moving targets. How do you make the bots move? Okay, so in the practice range, you can click F3, Dilo, and it'll pull up a menu. And in that menu here, I'm gonna close over this. In that menu, you can click strafe to turn them on, and you can also change a bunch of settings like turning on infinite ammo and turning on bot armor. So that way you can do that. Cool. Awesome. Let me turn on Discord stream. Bam. Cool. Yeah. Another thing you can do, Sion, to make it easier so that there's only one bot, you click F3 back here. You can click streak. When you go back to the area that you can walk around in, or the area that says like skill test. Excuse me. Yeah. So if you hit F3, if you click streak, eliminate 50 or 100, click either of those, and then click start. It'll give you just one bot that spawns randomly around the area, and that bot will be strafing, right? And then you can practice with that, and then another one will spawn at a different location, so you can practice on that bot.
Do I have to kill the first one before the second one spawns?
Yes, you have to kill the first one before the second one spawns. So that way it's only one isolated target, right? So that way you can practice easier. Perfect. Awesome. Yeah, bringing this into a real game is what separates like low level player from like a middle to high ranked player, right? Because dancing is one of the hardest techniques techniques to master, and when you actually finally master it, it brings so much benefit to the table. Just try aiming for the head level as well, because you're aiming a little low right now. So you're aiming and you're hitting mainly like the body level. The best rule of thumb is when you're moving your mouse to readjust, because right now you see how you're hitting those body shots instead of a headshot. You want to be aiming like a little bit higher so it's on their heads, right? So a good rule of thumb, when you find that head level, so let's say you aim at the bot's head, right? You find that head level. Instead of like moving your mouse like a bunch, like try moving just a little bit to the right and a little bit to the left. That way it's like going in like in a more so like straight right and left motion. Yeah, see, so like when you're moving your mouse, you're following their head. Makes it a little bit easier. Now the issue you're having right now is that you're shooting before you're fully counter strafed. So before you shoot, just make sure that your crosshair is completely, or like your movement area is completely gone, right? You're shooting a little too premature. There you go, perfect. Oh, the lag happens even in the range. Interesting. I just saw that bot teleport around. Still aiming a little too low, so aim a little bit higher. Gotta work towards that. Nice, perfect, exactly. Why is the screen so small? Because it is extremely blurry, unfortunately, and so if it's any larger, you'll be seeing pixels and not the actual screen. So that is why. And also it's because it's practice. We're not necessarily so worried about see on screen as much as we are, you know, learning about how to improve on these sort of strategies, right? There you go, perfect. Awesome. Nice. Getting the hang of it already. No, dude, the bot used Chamber's ability. That's funny. Cryo, yo, how's it going? Having a low enough sense to track is good too. Absolutely. Yeah, no, having a sense that you can track with is absolutely one of the things you want to have. But depending on your setup, you're going to have a higher sense of if you don't have a lot of space, right? Also depends if you're a wrist or arm gamer too. Awesome. Good work so far, Sion.
Thank you.
Welcome. Yeah, keeping your crosshair at that head level is imperative to making that difference when it comes to shooting at somebody. Because even if, you know, they crouch or something like that, it's only a little bit lower to hit that headshot if they crouch. Perfect. Also depends if you're the arm gamer. That does change comfort level and tracking quality. True. For me, I also adjust using force for my fingertips as well. Yeah, no, there's a bunch of different ways to aim, but that's all preference when it comes to moving your mouse around. There's no right or wrong way. A little low there. I am a little bit higher. That is perfect. Right along that axis. Alrighty, nice. There you go. Perfect. Now, if you think the strafing is a little too much for you at this point, you can also go back and just turn the strafe off, so it's just a single bot, and that way you can practice with just the this, you know, counter strafing on a normal bot.
With strafing, I think what I'm forgetting is that I should also be, usually when I'm moving, it's like, 1 second. It's because there are multiple bots like that are still, and I'm trying to headshot them, so I'm moving and they're still, so I'm not adjusting my crosshair.
Yeah.
I'm just adjusting my agent.
Yeah.
So with the strafing, I'm forgetting to adjust my crosshair as well. I'm only like adjusting myself.
Perfect.
And expecting the crosshair to like just align with them.
Yeah. So then this is good for you then, because this forces you to, you know, practice and move the crosshair with it. Because this is one of the things I did notice is that while you're walking around and like and practicing to shoot bots, you're just sort of walking back and forth, right? And that's good for counter strafing. You know, that's good for practicing counter strafing. You don't have to move your if you don't have to move your crosshair at all. You just click whenever your crosshair aligns, right? As long as you stop moving. But when it comes to like an actual match, right, you're gonna want to keep trying to, you know, get that movement up. So that way, if they're moving, you can keep tracing them with your crosshair.
Do you ever aim downside at all?
So aiming down like as an ADSing is usually a negative, has a negative effect at most ranges. Mainly because of the fact that it lowers your fire rate, right? So if you're ADSing, sure, you might be a little bit more accurate, but it's not a significant accuracy change as compared to being like just normal like iron sights, right? So if you're ADSing, it's not a super good, and it actually slowers your player movement. So if you're trying to like dance with somebody and like counter strafe, it can actually give you a negative effect. However, ADSing is good for certain weapons. For example, let's say if you're using the Guardian, if you ADS with the Guardian, it's perfectly fine as if you aren't dancing, right? If you're like holding an angle, it's fine, because the Guardian is the only weapon in the game, aside from like the Op and the Marshal, where ADSing gives it a 0 first shot spread. Now in Valorant, on that topic, in Valorant, every weapon has something called first shot inaccuracy, where if you shoot at something, let's say you aim for a headshot. So go ahead and feel free to look at my screen real quick to give this example. If you aim at somebody's head, so let's say they're really far out there, right? I have my crosshair perfectly lined up. There's something called first shot inaccuracy, where the bullet will actually go a little bit in a deviation from where you're aiming. So right there, I'm aiming at their head, right? Notice how like a bunch of shots miss. Like, so watch, I'll give it a second. You can see it reset. That's a body shot, even though I'm aiming for their head. That didn't even hit their head. That didn't even hit them at all. I hit their body again. But if you look, I'm aiming directly at their head, right? And we are hitting any of these shots. So whenever you're aiming at somebody really far away, if they're really, really far away, ADSing is the way to go, because you minimize that first shot inaccuracy. For example, I'll switch to Guardian just because it's the best example. If I'm standing still, you know, I'm hitting headshots, and eventually it's going to whiff, just because that's how first shot inaccuracy works. But if you're ADSing, it will always guarantee that you'll hit that headshot. because with the Guardian it has 0 for shot inaccuracy, and the same thing with the Marshal and the Op. If you're ADSing, this will always go where you're aiming. Whereas if you're not, it'll go in like a random direction, right?
So the
Instead of doing
Guardian
without it.
might be like super good for holding an angle on flank or something like that.
Yeah, so, well, more so, the Guardian is really good for holding those long range angles. So, for example, if you are back sight of Icebox on A site, right? You know how there's that really long angle from A site on Icebox to like that ramp area where the attackers come from, where they run up the ramp and they go across?
Yeah.
Buying a Guardian is super good for example like that, because you can hit a really long shot here. And I can actually give an example of that in the game, so you see these sort of angles I'm talking about. Another new angle that would be really good for a Guardian would be on Pearl. How we saw that really long area where it made it really easy for somebody like ADSing to shoot. So let me get the Icebox roll kick, and I'll leave the lobby just so I can try doing this in a quick manner. Let's see this. We'll go Icebox. This is fine. ADS is usually bad in general. It's frame commitment, recoil is harder, slows player movement, rounds output slower. Yeah, exactly. It does a lot of stuff, just like Cryo in chat said. ADSing is a lot of players tend to do it because in other games it's good, right? In other games like Call of Duty, Apex, it actually gives you a higher benefit, right? It gives you more accuracy as well as not really punishing you for moving at all. Or the difference in Valorant, you know, you don't have that sort of affordability. When you ADS, you're getting deducted a bunch of things. You're deducting your firing rate, first of all. So if, let's say I have a Vandal, if I ADS, my firing rate will go down significantly. So like if I'm shooting like this, it's like outputting a bunch of bullets, right? Whereas if I ADS, it's a lot slower. And the same thing goes with the Phantom, right? The Phantom shoots really quickly, but if you ADS, it shoots a lot slower and also is more harder to control. But let me show you some good angles that you can hold from that will give you a better advantage if you're ADSing with any weapon technically. So this angle from, let's say where I'm standing, to this place called Belt on Icebox, there's this area called Belt, and it's this whole stretch that goes up because it's actually a conveyor belt. There's like a little laboratory, right? Where
Wow.
Yeah, so basically what happens, ships load in boxes and stuff. It's a conveyor belt. You can even see over here it's actually moving, right? But the conveyor belt goes all the way over here. They have boxes that move on it, and then right here, this is where the conveyor belt like goes through into the actual Icebox area. That's why this place is called Belt. But this spot on the map is one of like the further angles in the game, so you have to like, there's really far angles where people can be playing, and so it makes it really convenient if you have a Guardian to be able to like ADS, right? At an angle like this, if you're attacking, you don't ever want to ADS because that slow movement can cause you issues. But if you're defending, for example, there's some really neat spots you can get into. For example, if I get out here onto the corner like this before I fall, you can get into this really nice headshot spot where I can ADS like this and be in like a tucked area where they can barely see me, but I can see their head as they go across, and I can just go click as I go. Another spot that ADS is used for is this corner right over here, where you can actually see the tops of their heads as they cross over here and just like click them as they go by. So those are examples where ADSing is really good. Other weapons that ADSing is really good to use is if you're using an Ares or an Odin, because one of the things that ADSing does is it gives you better recoil control, right? So with a Vandal or a Phantom, recoil control isn't that big of an issue because if you're doing bursts like this, you're not really having to pull down much anyways. And if you do spray, it's not crazy, right? It's like just that. Whereas an Odin is, you have to really pull down, right? If I just let this go, it'll go all the way up there. You see how high that is? That goes all the way to like the ceiling, basically. Or if I shoot with a Vandal in the same starting spot, that's the peak of the spray. And I'll just show you the example again. Odin goes like twice the distance and climbs higher, right? So if you're using an Odin, it's really convenient because you can make it so you're more accurate and you don't have to really worry as much about the spray if you just ADS. Excuse me. And the same thing goes with the Ares. Same sort of application. So if I spray like this, it's really hard to control, but if I ADS, it makes it really easy, and it makes it so I can just have a more controlled out weapon. And the reduced fire rate doesn't really matter because it shoots so fast anyways that you aren't getting too big of a reduction. So like once again, like with the Odin, this is a lot easier to control than doing this where it's like all over the place and going different directions. Guardian is a poo-poo gun in my opinion. Guardian is actually great. Guardian is a fantastic it's a hard weapon to use, don't get me wrong. The Guardian and the Sheriff are really hard weapons to use, but there's a reason why it's really good. For one, the Guardian has a very, very high damage output. So if you hit a bullet right here, if you hit a shot, so like let's say the body shot or the legs, if you hit a body shot, it's 65 damage. Which means if you hit 2 body shots on somebody who has light armor, it's a guaranteed kill because light armor only gives you 125 HP, whereas full armor gives you 150. If you get 2 shots to the body with a Guardian and you have light armor, you're guaranteed to die.
Was that 170?
It's
170 damage?
It's a 65 each, so it's 130 total. So, but if you do, yeah, but if you all good. But if you hit 3 body shots on somebody who has full armor, it's great because it kills them regardless. Whereas with, let's say, a Vandal, you have to hit 4 shots to the body, or the Phantom you have to hit 4 to 5 depending on the range. But the Guardian's a really, really good eco weapon, right? So if you're low on funds and you don't have like enough money to buy a Vandal or something, you can opt for a Guardian because if you hit your headshots, which hopefully you do, right? The headshot kills the fastest in the game. If you hit your headshots, if you can consistently, just click people as they go along, you can just one tap people, right? From any range. This gun doesn't have a fall off. So even if I'm at a really, really long angle, for example, let's say like back here in Snowman to like yellow, I'm gonna angle like this. If I hit a headshot, they'll die. Whereas if I have a Phantom, if I headshot them, they won't necessarily die, or a Spectre, it may take a lot more bullets to kill that person. The Guardian's great. Same thing with the Marshal. The Marshal is OP as an eco weapon because it does even more damage than the Guardian. It does 101 damage to the body. So you can 2-shot anyone regardless of their health. And if you headshot them, it's a 1-tap kill. Toby, yo, how's it going? How's it going? So there's a bunch of reasons to use these eco weapons. But it's always better to have like a Vandal or a Phantom because Vandal, you kill at all ranges and you're full auto, so if you just shoot a couple bullets in their general direction, hopefully they die. Whereas with the Guardian, you have to like take your time with it because if you shoot like crazy, your bullets will just go off in the random direction, so you have to passively tap to keep that in a nice close-knit area. Cool. So do you have any questions so far, by the way? I know I've sort of like info dumped on you, so.
When starting out in unrated or comp, although I haven't done comp yet, when starting out, aside from probably light armor, what do you suggest buying? Like get a weapon or just go with your classic and kills?
Oh, perfect. Okay, right. You were asking about economy. Perfect. This actually gives me a great example to discuss this. So let me go ahead and turn off all of this economy stuff. So, oh, hold on. I want to turn shopping restrictions on, and let me just restart the game so I have no credits, right? So for pistol rounds are very unique because both teams only have 500 credits per player, right? Or hold on, wait, 800? Let me see how much. 800 credits per player, right? So the general rule of thumb is it's a preference round. You want to buy whatever you want to make this round easier for you. For duelists like Jet, buying a Sheriff is really good because if you hit your headshot, they die, and if you regardless of the light armor, because of the damage output, you can just 2 body shots to them and they die, right? And you also have tools where you can use your dash. Let me turn off this. So if let's say I shoot at somebody and then I need to get out, I can like take a couple shots and dash away. So just really convenient for something like this. However, on the flip side, if you're playing a utility character like Sky, for example, I'll just switch to Sky real quick. Restart game. Yeah, really depends on agent or rule. Here we'll go here. Let's see. Once it loads, awesome. So whereas with Sky, if I'm on my pistol round, usually if I play Sky, I blow full utility because this utility gives me a lot of stuff to use with, right? I've got a healing ability so I can heal my allies. I've got a dog that if I need to clear space, I can, find them. And if I find them, jump at them and concuss them. And I also have flashes, which are flashes. That's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah.
And with Sky, these flashes gives a lot of information. So the pistol rounds are very, very static, right? You just buy what's good for you, or good for your team, right? So if you're playing a supportive role like Sky, you want to go more towards utility based, or if you're playing a role like Jet, you want to go more for like a better gun, or Reyna, you want to go for a better gun. With Raze, because you said you play a lot of Raze, right? With Raze, what I like to do, regardless of the map, is this is my preference. Once again, like everyone has their own thing that they do for pistol rounds. Let's see when we start up with Raze. A lot of people will go, let's say, Roomba and Ghost, because this gives you very high damage output with your Ghost, because if you headshot them, if they don't have armor, they die, right? Because this does 105 damage to 0 to 30 and 87 for like longer ranges. So this is a really good eco weapon. However, on certain maps, if you're playing really close areas, I like to go shorty, light armor, and a satchel, because A, I'm a crackhead. B, the shorty has a really, really high damage output. So if you're in a close proximity to someone, you can easily get these kills if you just like are waiting in a corner. So for example, on Icebox, it's not really good because there's a lot of different corners. But if let's say there are people shoving this area, right? I can just go boom, boom, and I get 2 kills there, right? Because this gun has a huge damage output at these closer ranges. So yeah. Now the difference, this is where economy gets interesting. So when you win this round, so let's say we win this round, right? We've won the round, awesome. If you don't get any kills, you should get around 3,000 credits or so. If you get kills, you will have more. But generally on the next round, what you want to do is the best buy that you can do is go full utility if you can get it, as well as a Spectre with full armor. You want to do full armor, Spectre, and then utility. If you can't afford full armor but you had light armor last round, you can save that light armor and just go full util with the Spectre. This gives you the most damage output for your buck, right? Because against light people with no armor, you have a lot of capabilities with this gun. So for example, 2 headshots deal 130 something damage, right? Because it's 78 damage at close range. So if I double headshot somebody that has no armor, they die. If they do buy armor, if they like buy light armor, because sometimes on eco rounds people will just go ahead and force, right? They'll buy light armor and whatever else to make sure that they have a better chance at winning the round. They do happen to buy light armor. You can once again double headshot for the kill, or you can headshot body shot. So if you just happen to go crazy on them like this, and you land a headshot and 2 body shots, they die. So this weapon is really, really good for these eco rounds. Another weapon that's really good for these eco rounds are Marshall, because if you're holding a longer angle and you're not afraid of them getting to you, for example, like here, I can just bam, if I headshot them, they die. And if they didn't buy armor, I can you body shot them and they'll still die, because this has 101 damage. Right, so really, really convenient for these specific rounds. The first 2 or 3 rounds of the game is where the economy is the most like random, right? Because you have excuse me, pistol round where the money is like really low, and then the second round, one team has really bad guns and the other team can buy and like get even, let's say, a Guardian or a Bulldog, right? Where this gun will still, if you have no armor, it's 115 to headshot, right? That's just a kill with like a single body shot. Or if you spray them like with a Bulldog spray and you hit all 3 shots, you should kill them. Excuse me. Let me drink some water real quick. Awesome. Okay, so doing this is really good for like the first couple rounds. But the question is, what do I do on a full buy round? So let's say, just go ahead and bonus it a couple rounds. So let's say you have enough, you've won a couple rounds, right? And you have full buy. Generally, you want to do like full armor. The obvious is full armor. You go rifle, you get your full utility, right? Awesome, perfect. But what happens if you're on an eco, right? That's the real question. So how do I balance my economy? So let me go ahead and I'll just let me turn infinite abilities on real quick. I can just deplete my economy as fast as I can. Well, that didn't work very well. Oh, there it did. It did.
No,
I died of full damage.
way.
Perfect.
Okay.
All good. I know how there's a better way. I've killed myself before in this game. Oh no. All right. So, I still have money because technically had a lot of money last round. Let me just do the same thing again. Let me go crazy, right? So I buy a lot this round. I turn infinite abilities on just to get that. And now I'm just gonna... That did not do what I wanted. I'll do the same thing. I'll just turn infinite abilities on and... Boom. Okay, right. I died. Awesome. Great. This is perfect. Hey, it works for my example. So let's say on this round, you have 2,700 credits, right? You full bought a lot last round. And now you're really broke. And the other team has full weapons, right? They've got full guns. What do you do in this round? So as a raise, generally the idea is you are a character with a lot of high damage output abilities, right? So for example, you have your nade that, you know, if you throw it, you know, that deals so much damage, right? When it hits somebody, that can guarantee you kills. The satchels are great for movement ability, right? So you can, like, you know, you can soar across and do crazy things. And then the Roomba gives you a lot of information. But the question is, okay, so what do I want for each situation? So let's say, for example, in this round, I use all my utility left. So, you know, at the start of the round, I have my nade, but that is it if I don't buy anything. So right here, you see I get 5,600 credits next round, right? On a loss. If I lose the round, I get 5,600. If I win, I get 5,700. Now that gives me a lot of money. If I don't buy right now, I have enough money to buy an entire kit in the next round. Full gun, full armor, full utility, right? But the question is, where, like, how much wiggle room do I have where I can still have the same amount of affordability in the next round? With each character in the game, they each have their own number, and there's actually a list I can pull up that I found a while ago that gives those numbers exactly. Actually, let me pull that up real quick. So if you're curious and saying, hey, like, how much do I need for each round to get this affordability, and still have full armor and full utility in the next round, like, where is the cutoff point? For most characters, the cutoff point is an average of 4,400 to 4,600, depending on the character, with some deviations being like Reyna and other characters like Jet that have really cheap utility and don't necessarily need their utility to win the round, right? Their default utility is good enough, and they can just use their guns to get those kills. But for other characters, like, let's say Viper or Omen or Sky, Breach, all these utility-based characters, it's really hard because you want to be able to afford this utility, right? So as a general rule of thumb, let me see if I can find the screen. Where is this? As a general rule of thumb, you always want to go more towards utility if you are a utility-based character. So let me go ahead and I can send you this image so that you can see it, and I'll pull it up on stream. So we'll go here, and I'll send this to you. Bam. That is full buy with like full utility, hypothetically. So that's how much you need next round for full utility and full buy. For those of you watching, let me make sure this is showing the right thing. Awesome. So let me resize this real quick. So for full utility and full armor, with a rifle, the next round, you need approximately 4,600 on most duelists, right? So you see Jet all the way down to Reyna is 4,600, with the exception being Yoru with 4,700. And then for most initiators, actually all initiators is 4,600. And then smoke characters are actually cheaper because the smokes are really important in Valorant, so they made them a cheaper piece of utility than most characters. So this list is actually a really good example of like how much it costs for each you know, for armor plus weapon, right? So if you get armor, weapon, and full util, this is how much it costs. And then you can, if you want more than that, so let's say if you're playing Jet and you want an operator, you just add $1,800 extra onto that number, and that'll afford you an operator with all the utility. So this is a really good resource to have. This was actually made by Tom's U FPS. I can actually link that tweet in the chat real quick. Really convenient list, really easy to read, very easy to understand. If you want this list just to save it, you can pull this up. It's on the Twitter post. Super convenient. I actually might remake this just because it's really good to have. A, B, the guy who made it is questionable with his language as well as the topics of conversations he likes to have. So for younger audiences, I generally say stay away from more adult content, but you know, teach their own. But yeah, this is a great explanation of how econ works. So let me go ahead and open the game up again, right? So on Raise, let's say I'm in this economy situation where I have, you know, not a lot of money to work with, and I want to be able to see, hey, how much can I buy on this round? So if you want a full buy next round, there's a couple things you can do. First of all, if you want, you can buy full armor. Not necessarily the greatest option, but if you want the full armor, you can get it, right? You have 4,600 credits next round. You can afford full armor, full utility, and a gun next round. Perfect. That's great. But for the biggest bang for your buck, your general idea is you're going to want to go for a better gun to get more impact in the round. For example, let's say a sheriff. If you go sheriff and light armor, that'll put you at 4,400 credits. And this way I have a weapon that can, if I one tap somebody close enough, they die, right? That's a free kill, essentially. Mm-hmm. And I have armor, so in case somebody shoots back at me, I can potentially get away with, you know, some spare HP left over if they don't happen to kill me. So this is a great buy on an eco because you're 4,400 credits, which means the only thing that you'll be missing out on is like a satchel. Where if you aren't double satcheling in every round, you don't necessarily need both, right? It's a great tool if you have it. If you don't, it's not something you need. So that's a really good like light buy. Another really good light buy is if you want the utility. So let me go ahead and turn abilities on just in case like I pretend I bought it. You can do like light armor, a shorty, and then sell these just so you can see. You can do like well, now it's not letting me buy it. Great. You can do you know, double satchel or Roomba depending on your situation. Because this gives you a huge damage output. Let's say, you know, we're playing on Icebox, for example. If I want to go ape shit, just go crazy, go in, you know, you can do things that like this where you can, you know, satchel in and maybe get a kill that's close range, or if somebody's playing close in this angle, you can just drop on top of them and bam, get a free kill. Or at least deal a lot of damage, right? This works better on maps like Bind, where you have a lot of close angles you can play in, and even better on the defense, because on the defense, it's a lot easier to hold somebody that's pushing from an angle like this, right? Where the enemy has to swing into you. They're making a lot of noise, you can say, okay, I know where they're coming from. Just wait for them to, like, when you hear them getting close, get ready, and bam, right? Pop them as they come around the corner. And that's a really good light buy in these sorts of situations where you want to have enough credits for the next round.
Do you wait till their head like touches the crosshair, or no? Like, do you wait until it's in the center of the crosshair, or until it just touches the crosshair?
So it really depends on the angle you're holding, and what gun you have, right? So for example, if you're holding with a, let me go ahead and just turn on infinite creds so I can give a better example of this. If you're holding an angle like this, right? And I'm holding an angle like this, the reaction time.
Your crosshair doesn't have a center.
What was that?
I said, I guess your crosshair doesn't have a center.
Oh no, because I don't have like I have a smaller crosshair, but let me just change to a bigger crosshair, for example, for those of you who want to see that. So I have this crosshair that's bigger, right? The reason why I use a smaller crosshair, even a dot, is because that way I know where this dot is the center of my crosshair, right? So if I'm aiming at somebody's head, this is the center, it will headshot them, right? I don't have to worry about any like outliers. And the same goes for like this Scion one, or not this one, this one, because it's almost similar to the dot with a little plus. If I'm on their head with this crosshair, it's a headshot regardless. Whereas if I go for a super crazy crosshair, I used to have the Minecraft crosshair in here actually, where it's like really big and white. Here, I'll just take a crosshair I don't use anymore. Let's see, this one, turn it to white, scroll down a little bit, turn the thickness up like that, turn the offset off, and then turn the length all the way up. There you go. That's the Minecraft crosshair, right? I have the Minecraft crosshair. It's gonna take a second for them to walk into the center of that, right? So if I like shoot before they're in the center, I'm not necessarily going to get that headshot. So as a general rule of thumb, when it comes to holding these angles, let me go ahead and set it back to my crosshair. You don't want to be holding super tight, right? Because if you're holding super tight, you need like inhuman reactions to hit a headshot like this if they're walking around the corner. If they come swinging out, you're the chances that you react in time to just be like bam, unless you audibly hear, if they're, you know, like, let me turn on my audio so you can hear. If they're obviously like sprinting. Like you can hear that noise of them coming and you might be able to hit them as they round the corner. But if not, if they're walking, the reaction time for you to be able to just like click something that's like pixel perfect, right? That's never gonna happen. So I like to give like a little bit of wiggle room, right? Set it a little bit offset, so that way if they swing out, you can usually be able to tap them or even spray at them when they come out, right? Because you're giving yourself a little bit wiggle room. Obviously you're not holding out like here or something like that. You're holding a little bit tight, but not too tight where it's like inhumanly possible to hit a headshot unless you're hacking or you have some sort of intuition that they're coming, right? Now on the flip side, if you have an operator, it's really easy to like, you know, because of the zoom, it's a lot easier to be like, okay, bam, you know, hit that shot. But if you're using a vandal, holding a little bit out is better, because if you know, chances are they walk into it anyways, and that way you don't really have to adjust too much as long as you're at headshot level. Just go bam, bam, and they die, right? So there's that. Any other questions? Because you're asking good questions. These are all very, very helpful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But I don't think I have any more questions now.
Okay, perfect. Now we'll go into something that I like calling cheating for head level. Not actually cheating, it's a metaphorical phrase, but how can you tell where the head level of a player is without seeing a player, so that you can pre-aim to that head level, right? There's a couple different ways. For one, there's the option of just memorizing like the height of a player, right? So you can say, oh, you know, a player is about like yay big, and this might be where like head level will be. At some point you won't need to, you'll just instinctually hit that mark. You'll be like, okay, this is head level. I can just like follow this along, right? And say, oh, this is about where that head level is the whole time, right? But for newer players, how can you tell where head level is? Well, on certain maps, for example, Ascent, Icebox, a couple other maps, they actually have something cool in the game that I like to call guidelines. And these lines are very small, distinct lines that can help newer players identify where that head level on the map is around the map. So here, I'm gonna have you join me real quick. So let me go ahead and leave the map. You can follow me in. I'll pull you up here. Invite the sheep gang.
Sheep gang.
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 Awesome. Well, let me go ahead and see you're in the lobby. Cool. We can just start like awesome sauce. Go ahead here. So Valorant guidelines are these small, very distinct lines that can be found across multiple maps that allow you to better aim at that head level. Let me just choose a character that's pretty easy to see, which is Chamber, where he's not like crazy with like random colors. Like Jet and Sage have ponytails that might stick up a little higher that make it hard to tell. So we'll just make this a little easier for us.
Just going off of their heads, right?
Yeah, just going off their heads.
Yeah.
Alrighty, let's see. The game loads up. Okay, let me mute your stream. There we go. It's not like giving us an echo. Awesome. So let me just go ahead and turn the cheats on and stuff. This cool. So around the map there are a bunch of little tiny guidelines that can help guide your crosshair towards where that head level is, and a lot of them can be found all around the map. So for example, if you go stand on here for me, just give me an example. When players come around the corner, there's this little line or crease that's in the wall behind you, right? See how there's like this crease on the wall right here? Yeah, that little tiny crease that's like that, right? If you're walking in next to that, that's around head level for a player, right? So if I'm right here, if I stand next to that, you can go ahead and look. That's like right along head level, right? Right about head level. Well, the neat thing about that is that knowing that information, you can actually use that for if you're playing a lower angle. So let's say I'm playing over here. I'm like, okay, where's head level? I can aim right there. And if you come around that corner, so for example, I'll go ahead over here. Let me just pull up your stream on Discord or on OBS so that they can see it as well. Bam. If I walk around this corner, if you're at a lower elevation, excuse me, yeah, go back over there. If you're at a lower elevation, that'll line up directly with the head level, right? And same thing if I'm aiming at you. So if you like at like the wall behind you, see how there's that green line? That line's directly up with that head level for where I am to where you are. So if I go stand up where you are and you go to swap positions with me, this green line for that elevation is exactly where head level would be for a player standing there. That's a pretty distinct line, right? That's like, oh my goodness, that's like pretty bright. It's a distinct saying, hey, that's where head level is. The same thing goes for an angle like this. So if I go over, if I'm standing where I am right here, so you can go over to where that ping is. You see how the green line? That's right where head level is, right? And same thing if I go over to where that is. So let me go ahead and...
Yo, that's insane.
Yeah, isn't it? There's a bunch of little things around the map. That's because the devs said, hey, we want to make it easier for newer players to like really be able to tell where the head level is. So if I'm looking, you see it's right along that green line. And now obviously if I go up a little bit on like a different elevation of surface, that changes, right? Where I'm no longer at that same head level. There's still some guiding lines that can help sort of identify where that is. So here, another one. If you're holding this screen, right? You're told about this by a friend? Yeah, it's pretty convenient. Let's say you're walking along the screen, right? And you're on, or like somebody's walking along the screen and you're holding from like above or maybe backside. You're trying to figure out where is that head level, right? How can I aim at that head level? Well, on the screen, there's actually like this white line that goes across, right? If you aim like just at the bottom of that white line, it's about that head level. We're even at that white line. That's like head level for a player. So if you're up on like a higher spot here and you're like, okay, where are they? Where are they gonna come from? You can aim like just below that head, like that white line there and tell where that head level is. And if you want, you can fly up here and I'll go to that wall and you can see where what that looks like. It should be J. If you bound it. That works. Oh, there you go. Make sure you aren't stuck in the ground. Perfect. Now, if I'm on the screen, you can say, hey, look, see this white line on the screen? It goes right along the edge. It's pretty much matching up where my head is, right? Just about.
A little lower.
Yeah, a little lower. Some of these are like a give or take, right? You have to aim a little bit lower than where that line is. But it's a pretty good, you know, telltale say, hey, this is where that head level is, right? And there's a couple other spots around the map that can do the same thing. Ascent is a lot easier. Another spot is like, so if I come here, if you come up to where I am, now I was showing this little head spot earlier. If you come into a spot like this and you look along the top of this box, that's like in this corner, anything along this, like this box that's just like straight across the top is headshot level. So this box that's close. If you get to the corner, let me swip on over to this spot over here and I can pull up your screen again on stream so that people can see. If I'm out here, that is like, if you look along the box to where I am, I'm exactly at that head level, right? So if I were to, you know, turn on auto respawn and swap teams, you could just easily like, okay, bam, aim for that headshot and go dink and I'm dead, right? Now obviously that changes if I go to a different elevation that's lower, but for a position where it's just like a flat area where you're running like straight across, that is exactly where that head level is, right? So if I aim at you, I can just go bonk, right? Perfect. Awesome. And there are a couple other ones that are based around the map as well, so you can go over to let me see if mid has one. I don't necessarily know if mid has one. Let me see. Kinda actually, yeah. Let's see. Make sure that's a line. Kinda, not really. Okay. Yeah, but there's some certain other places. So for example, like there's these black lines around the map here. That's like along this block. If you aim just like a little bit below this black line, you'll be at like that head level area, right? So for example, if I'm over here, oh, you're lagging again. Here we go. So I'm like on that black line. If you aim a little bit lower, right? That's like about that head level. There's a bunch of different little guiding lines that you can use. And some of these are obviously give or takes because they don't want to make it say, hey, exactly this is where you aim. But it really helps for, let's say, if you're looking bottom tube, because some people swing underneath this area, right? They swing on that bottom part. If somebody's underneath that box area, this line can really help you like say, hey, that's where that head level is, right? So if I'm over here, you sort of see like, hey, that's where that head level is. Or if I'm shooting outwards, I can say, hey, head level's right along where that box is. So if you look at the opposite side, see how there's that box right there? That lines up perfectly with your head if I'm like on the other side attacking. So if I'm like, where's their head? That line's right up there. And I can swap over to that spot if you'd like to look. Yeah. so you can see like how it looks. If I'm like lined up here and you go underneath the tube, you can see exactly. This is gives a very, very definitive say, hey, this is that sort of headshot level, right?
Yeah. So it's not that you guys see their heads clearly. You just use these like grids, sort of.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, for some players like myself, I mean, at this point, I don't need the grids. I know where exactly my crosshair is at that head level all times. So if I'm walking around, I can say this is like head level. I know it is just out of default. But if I need to, I can use helping lines. So for example, there's another one that's right here. If I trace my crosshair along the top of this line, that is head level for a player. And you can see if I go stand up next to this line and you go from any distance, you can see that's like that head level.
Ah.
Yep.
Nice.
So there's a bunch of different places around the map that can help you get into that like head level sort of positioning where you say, hey, this is the line for head level. So if I just aim like this, if I aim like this and I swing out, bam, that should be head level over there for a player. So if I go over there, like use that line and walk straight off that line. And if I'm right here, it should be about head level for where that player is. Boop. Your crosshairs are right about that head level, right?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. The same goes with like these yellow boxes. You see how there's like this ridge on this box? Aim like a little bit above that ridge. That's head level, right? I stand next to that. You even aim at the ridge if they're close enough. It's like, that's like aiming for face. Right. If you go stand up to that for me, just so I can give an example from the other side. See, if you aim at this line, bam, that's like head level right there. You just aim right above it. Very cool. And here, we can go to a different map that that has a bunch of other. We'll go to set real quick if you want to leave.
Okay.
And these are a bunch of little tiny things that you can use to sort of help yourself figure out, oh, where can I aim so that I have a better advantage of knowing where to shoot, right? Never heard the word head level this much before, not gonna lie. I know, right? It's tedious, but for trying to figure out how like to position your crosshair properly, it's a good thing to know, saying, hey, this is where that is, right?
You have good taste, my friend.
You have good taste, my friend.
Once when I first started, I started with Sova, but I only know how to use his like his intel util. Wait,
Yeah.
there are two of them. You know the first one, the one you don't have to buy. I only know how to use that one.
Yeah, the silver dart.
Without dying. So it's been him, Ray, and Neon, right? So one time my team insta-locked all three of them, so I ended up using Sage, and I'm not good at Sage, so.
With fire, if I must.
Well,
So next one I want to get good at
My
is her.
ultimate is ready.
well, fortunately enough, Sage is pretty easy. She has a very straightforward utility, right? She has a wall that blocks off an area, an orb that slows an area if they walk, like if somebody walks through it, and then a healing ability that heals herself and allies. And then her ultimate just revives people. So she's got pretty straightforward kit, which fortunately enough makes it easy. But here, so let's, for example, see how there's this like pretty distinct line that goes across? Like there's a brick pattern, right? But it makes a straight line. That straight line is about that head level. If I stand here and you know, look across, it's about that head level, give or take, you know. You might have to aim a little bit up or down, but it's a guiding line to help you aim for that head level. And same thing if I go over here and look at you on the level. It's about that head level, right? So if there's that ping, there's that wall. It's about that head level. You know, you have to aim a little bit down, but some of these, once again, are give or takes. Another one that's really obvious is you see how there's this big gouged out line? It's very distinct on the wall. If you're playing, if let's say somebody's playing from top mid, so let's say up here, and they want to figure out where that head level is, that gouged out line is about the head level for a player. So here, you can swap positions with me. It's hard to see further away, but about that head level, you know, give or take. Aim a little bit higher, aim a little bit lower, depending on where it is. There's a bunch of little spots like that. So for example, if you're in tiles here and you're trying to take a fight cat, this is a very common spot to fight, right? There's this line like that, right? On that box. If you aim like a little bit below that line, that's headshot level. So if I fly over there, you can go see that. For player at that elevation, I'm at like that head level.
Yeah, I see it.
Yep. So there's a bunch of different details around the map, and you can pick up on these when you're just playing the game, right? If you're just like, where's that head level, and you see somebody in that head level, you can sort of predict based off of that. Very cool, very cool. And some areas are a lot more distinct, like I said, than others. So for example, that line in mid is a lot more distinct than somewhere else. But that can really help you aim towards that head level area. Cool. Any questions so far?
No, it seems sort of straightforward. Oh, wait.
Yes.
Which box, is it just like experience, or is there some indication for which boxes you can shoot through?
So any box that has like a glowing color on it, like this green one here, any of these green boxes, on any map you can shoot through. And any box that's made out of wood you can shoot through. So for example, if you come over to A site, this green box you can shoot through, and this wood box you can shoot through. But this gray one you cannot. And there's a very easy way to tell if you can shoot through a box or not. So if you pull out a gun, doesn't let's say a vandal, right? Oh, you're lagging out. Oh. You back? Oh, she's not back. I think her internet may have cut out. Oh, her internet cut out. Uh-oh. Oh, Sion, have you returned?
Yeah, my bad.
No, all good, all good. No worries. So there's a really easy way to tell if you can shoot through a wall or not. So for example, if we go to this wall right here, right? This is a very definitive wall that you cannot shoot through, right? If you shoot at this wall and you look at your bullets on the wall, it glows orange, right? That orange glow indicates whether or not that wall is wall bangable or not. So, for example, this brick wall right here, this brick box next is what we call dice, because there's 2 dice next to it, right? 1 dice, 2 dice. This one you cannot shoot through, but the one next to it, see how it has like a bullet hole instead of glowing orange? You can shoot through that. And same with like wooden objects. So let's say this box right here you can shoot through. The box up on the top you can shoot through. Even the edges of like most of this you can shoot through. And another thing about walls in Valorant is you can actually shoot through most corners of walls as well. So for example, this wall you can't normally shoot through, right? But if it's a corner, let's say this corner piece, you actually shoot through the corner of this wall if somebody's standing on the other side. So here, I'll swap teams and go to like the corner right here. I'm standing right here. You can shoot through this corner. See? So you can shoot through corners of walls. And you can actually do this with any gun too. You can do it with a classic. So if you use your classic, the corner of this wall is penable with the classic. There you go. Now, depending on certain walls can only be penetrated by heavy penetrating items or guns, such as Odin, Ares, Operator, and a Guardian. If you look at the penetration, whenever you hover over a weapon, so let's say the Odin or the Ares, if you open up your buy menu, it says a certain penetration at the top right. It says primary fire, auto, and then high, right? And that essentially says, hey, the primary fire of this weapon is, you know, full auto, and then it has a high penetration. So this gun can shoot through most walls that low penetration weapons won't be able to shoot through. So for example, this wall right here, if you try shooting through this wall with a vandal, so let me see with a vandal, it glows orange, right? But if you use your Odin to shoot through the wall, it just shreds it like it's butter, right? It says, all right,
oh wow,
bet. And this fact can be used with a bunch of things. So for example, a lot of people will plant the spike in this spot right here, right? This is like a default spot for the spike being planted, right?
Yep.
If you have an Odin or even a sheriff is technically a high penetration weapon. If you have a sheriff and somebody's playing the spike right here, you actually come through here on the side of the wall. So let me switch teams so you can see what this looks like. You come to this wall and ping on the map where the bomb usually is planted and shoot through the wall with your sheriff. So here, I'll let you experience what that looks like. Because sometimes the door will be closed, right? Like this door will be closed. So go and ghost the other side of the door. And there's two different keys. There's M to pull up the map and caps lock to pull up the map, right? So go ahead and do M and just click on where like the default bombs plan spot is, so right in front of the generator, and just like start shooting at that mark. If I'm crouching, so let's say if I have the bomb here, actually I'll go grab the bomb so you can see what that's like. Because whenever somebody plants there, you'll hear the audio key, right? You'll be like, oh, there's a bomb there. Like the bomb's being planted. You can just ping it, and then you can start shooting through the wall. And that works with any gun as well. That works with a sheriff or any high pen weapon. Excuse me. So let's say I start planting, right? You ping it, and you say, okay. Bam. Isn't that crazy? And there's a bunch of spots on different maps that you can do that with. But knowing what sort of walls you can penetrate with certain weapons can really help you get an advantage in a fight. So for example, like this wall up here, this wall you can shoot the entire thing with a Vandal or a Odin. So any medium or high penetrating wall, you can shoot through with like a Vandal. Like here, you can shoot through the wall with a Vandal or an Odin. Right? So if somebody is up there and you hear them, you can just sort of spray at them, right, while they're up on that wall. Or if they're down here where I am and you're on top, you can just spray down towards where I am standing, and you should be able to like kill somebody with a Vandal or with an Odin. Now obviously you can't shoot because there's the generator, right? The generator won't go through, but this wall right here.
Healing you.
Thank you. I'm like right here. And you start aiming down. Yeah, you just absolutely mow me down, right?
Nice.
Perfect. And there's a bunch of different spots across many different maps, but like I said, the easiest way to tell if a wall is penetrable or not is to shoot it, and if it glows orange, there you go. Now you know it, you can't shoot it. Hopefully that helps.
It does help, thank you.
And there's actually some really interesting spots that you can do with like normal shooting weapons to get really crazy stuff. So for example, this wall right here, you can shoot through it at all angles on this metal part. And very funnily enough, let me go ahead and switch to Killjoy real quick so you can see what this looks like. There we go. Follow if you want. Post on over. So one of the most common things on this map is if they're playing Killjoy, they'll come over to this corner, right? And they'll place their ultimate down right here, right? They'll just go bing and place their ultimate, and then the ultimate will shove everyone off the site, right?
Yeah.
One of the cool things you can do with this, regardless of the penetration of the weapon, usually it's better with a Vandal. You come to the other side of this wall, right? And you know that they're gonna ping, they're gonna place their ult in this corner, right?
Yeah.
So you can ping in that corner, right? If you come to this metal port and shoot at that ping, it'll actually destroy the ultimate through this wall. So here, let me go and switch sides. Now I'll go and place the ultimate.
Initiated. My ultimate is ready.
If you ping in that corner, make sure you place the ping so it's easier to like aim towards. Okay, let me see. Oops. Oh, not that part. Sorry, you want to do it on this front-facing panel. My bad. I should have been more specific. This front-facing panel right here.
The front one? Okay.
Yeah. If I put my ultimate down here,
Initiated. My ultimate is ready.
and you ping where that ult is, bam, you've broken the ultimate.
Yay!
Isn't that crazy?
That's insane. I'm gonna use that.
Yeah, exactly. You're welcome. And you can do that on the other side of the map too. So if you, here, let me swap team again so you can follow me. If you come over to B site, a B site's it's a lot easier because you know this entire wall is penable with an Odin or with a sheriff. But let's say in the elo that you were probably playing in, if somebody's playing Killjoy, chances are they're just gonna throw it in the corner here, right? Well, if they do that, you can actually shoot it through the wall with a sheriff or with an Odin, if possible. But you won't be able to shoot. You won't be able to do this if you have like a Vandal, right? So you see how it glows orange? Can't do it with the Vandal. Let's see.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yep. The Vandal will always glow back that orange color, right? So let me go ahead and swap sides. It's a lot easier if I plant it, because you can just like, you'll see it through the wall, right? You don't even have to ping. You can just see where it is and spray towards where the. Yeah, there you go. Now, another neat thing about this is that because this wall that you're shooting at, because this wall right here is paper thin, if I'm on the other side of the wall and the round starts, so let's say you have your Odin, right? So go back to that spot over there so you can see me through the wall, right? Very common spots for people to come through are right here where I'm standing, right? Where they'll hug the close corner, or right here where they'll hug wide, right? If you ping one of those two spots, like ping where I'm standing right now, if you ping that spot and then spray through with the Odin on the start of the round, this is what Sova players usually do. You can usually get a kill, right? So let's say do the other one because I was standing at the other spot. I'm like right here. Chances are you'll kill me. You want to make sure that you don't go too far to the right, because you'll go off the side of that. But that entire from like where you see where there's that animal. You aim at that animal, you'll be able to basically get a kill because that's like towards where the center of the alley is.
So this animal's one of the cheats. Like
yes, it is. Yeah. You can aim at that, spray through the wall, aim it a little bit higher because you're aiming it a little bit down. Yep, and just like wiggle it around and just hold it down because that gun has a lot of ammo, right? You spray randomly and you should be able to. Now the nice thing is, and this is what a lot of people who play Sovas do, so let me go and swap to Sova. Oops. You go and swap teams, fly on over, end the game phase. If you play, you can only wallbang this with an Odin, Sheriff, Guardian, or Op or Ares, anything high pen. But if you have a Sova, right? Sova's dart allows you to see enemies through walls, right? If your Sova does that, and there's an enemy on the other side of the wall, you can just literally pin them down and spray them because you'll be able to see where they are. It's very convenient. Yep. And that by the way, this entire wall from there all the way over to here is paper thin, so you can spray through with the Odin the entire way. Another thing that you can do is, do you know how there's this box in here? If you hear people going for this orb on top of the box, because a lot of people will jump up to grab the orb, right? If you're on the other side of the wall and you hear that tapping noise, you can ping the box through the wall. Right here. Right? And just start spraying through with the Odin. It's like, if I'm on the other side of the wall here, right? And I buy the Odin, I'm like, okay, right? There's a box right here. I just start spamming everywhere and hopefully you might get some damage or a kill. Very cool. Also, neat trick with Sage here, because you're on this map and you want to learn more about Sage. If you come here and look down and make the wall go horizontal, so it's facing this direction, look down at the box right below where we're standing and place the wall on the box right here. Perfect. If you do it the other way, so more what is it, vertical? Do it vertically, you can put it across, and then you see how there's this window right here. This is a very, very common thing that Sage players do. You place it like this, so it's like straight across. There you go. Now look over behind you. You can see the entirety of the inside of sight.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And if I'm like over here, if I'm like in market, if I'm in market, you can look into market as well. This like market area. You can see people in that market area as well. As long as you like go to like the edge of the window. It can be hard to get, but yeah, very cool. There's a bunch of different things you can do like that. And some of them are really, really crazy. Like the new map has like insane wall angles, and I'll actually send you a video on that because I don't necessarily know all of them myself, but my my campers earlier in the week were saying, look at these walls you can do. I was like, oh my goodness, that's crazy. There you go. Look at that on your own time. But here, we're gonna go ahead and let's go ahead and take what we've learned so far and apply it to like a real match. So let's go ahead and leave this game.
Yay.
Okay.
Gaming.
And we can go into either an unrated match or spike rush. Which would you like to do?
And unrated, since we also learned economy. So
True, we did. We can apply that. So let's go ahead and equip Georgia just so that way your ping's not horrible. Because I usually play on Texas.
Oh, really?
Hey, Seth, how you doing? I usually don't play on Texas because Texas is the most like stable server that Valorant has. 'Cause on Georgia you get packet loss regardless if your internet provider is good or bad. Just
Oh, I
because,
didn't know that.
yeah, it's because the way that they networked the servers, they did it really badly. So. Yep. Doing well, Seth. Doing well, Seth. Doing a coaching session here with ShiningSion.
Hi.
Yeah, so many greens and yellows. Yeah. Of the green and yellows for ping. Yeah, very handy. Let's see. What do I want to equip? Skin. Put these to the dark colored ones. Ooh. Nice. Hopefully we can find a match soon. Shouldn't take too long. Oh, but yeah, now that you've learned all this stuff, hopefully you can apply it to your games when you play alone. That's the goal.
For
The goal
sure.
is to take what you've learned and be able to apply it, right? So many skins. Dilo, I have spent way too much money than I would like to say on this game.
You tweeted it recently, didn't
I
you?
did,
I don't think I commented on it, but I looked at it and I gasped.
I guess too. I've got a lot of skins, but you know what? I play this game professionally. I get paid to play it, so it's not like I'm putting money into it for no reason.
True, it's an investment.
It's an investment on myself. Yep. I say, you know what? I made a couple $100. Might as well put like 50 back into it or 100 back into it, and keep some of the profits for like rent and stuff. So the trouble I have with guns, they all look identical. Vandal looks. How do you mean? Like the different skins, or? Because each skin, it's supposed to look like the normal base gun, but have like cool aesthetic stuff to it, you know? Very cool, very cool. Hey, yo, we got a match?
Ayo?
Okay, it's Breeze. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go. Sheep Gang. The base gun looks like
and
the other
lambs.
guns. Oh, and oh my god, we've got a sheep here. Wait, that's crazy.
No one can hold their breath forever.
Do you follow the lore of Valorant?
I do. I love it. It's super cool. It's very
Do you know
cool.
what's going on between Reyna and Viper?
Yes. Okay. So essentially, and some of this is speculation, but essentially based off of one of the player cards that we got in 2 acts ago, called the Viper versus Reyna card, or the Reyna versus card. Essentially, it shows Viper and Reyna. Well, Reyna is a very young little girl, right? And so essentially, what happened is Reyna and Viper worked in a lab together, where Reyna was a test subject for a experiment of energy. Yeah. And so what happened is Viper experimented on Reyna and made her so that she can absorb life energy from those around her. Right? So that's why when she kills people, she can like pull in energy and heal off of it, right?
Yeah.
Well, what's the speculation is that every time she kills somebody and absorbs their soul like that, she actually stores some of that energy inside of like a machine that's like built on her, or not machine, maybe inside her body or something. But the idea is that after she collects a certain amount of souls, she's able to convert that energy to save, like to use it for like either energy source, so like for like housing and lighting and stuff, or something like that, so like as a power source. So she was like an experiment that they're working on, and they're hoping to like save the world with her. Yeah, pretty neat.
I thought Reyna hated her though.
She
In
does.
the recent... Oh.
She does.
Well, I mean, I guess that does make sense. I would hate it if someone, you know, experimented on me, so...
Yep. I'm gonna go ahead and close this, because I don't need to watch you just yet. We can go ahead and work on this match.
Oh, where are the lines for... on this map? For the headshots?
So the lines on this map are a little bit harder, I guess, to see because of how many different elevations on it. So let's say if I'm over here, because they're going B, we don't need to, we can take our time, right? If I'm over here coming out here, you see how there's like this line right here? This beam?
Beam? Yeah,
This
yeah,
beam
yeah.
is 200 cost. This beam is sort of like the headshot level for somebody coming out of like this area shop, right? So if you're down there, you can aim at this area and it'll be head level. Around that like area, right?
Yeah, a little lower.
Also, yes, I hate Breeze as well. Here, let me go in and meet these guys as well because I don't want to hear them. That guy as well. There's one half wall right here. One close left as well. What's this guy doing? Oh, oh my game is lagging. Holy smokes. Oh, because I was streaming Discord. Oops. That'll do it.
Stay alive.
Hey, all good. It doesn't matter. It's an unrated game. So here, so let's say, so we lost the first round, right? So what can we do here with our economy to make sure that we have a full buy for the next round? So usually on the pistol round, if you lose and you're on defense, generally you just can't buy anything if you want to have full armor, full utility the next round. And that also means if you have any leftover utility from the previous round, you don't want to use it, because if you use it, you won't be able to buy it the next round. However, in some situations, like I'm doing right here, I'm buying like a martial and light armor, because if I have this and I get a kill with it, it's immediately worth it for me. So for example, I got 1 kill, 2 kills, you got a kill, even better. Oh, now you can pick up my gun. Perfect.
Careful there.
Oh. So you have the martial now. Yep, there you go. And now if you walk along, oh, you throw your nade and, ooh, close. Close, almost got her. Almost. It's hard against Killjoy because of her turret, right? She's got that utility that says, hey, I'm here. So they can just swing off of it. That's why Killjoy is such an easy beginner level character, because if you hear that turret going off, you know, hey, somebody's there. And so you can just start shooting at them while they're trying to fight the turret. As you saw with that brim, or with the chamber, and what you experienced, right? You were trying to shoot the KJ and you got almost killed by the turret. So cool. So now let's say this round. So this round, you want to make sure that you buy full armor, because this is our buy round, right? Make sure you buy full armor, full utility, and then a rifle. So if you can't afford it, so go ahead and sell the Spectre. Yeah, there you go. So you can buy a rifle in this situation. And that way you can get the most benefit for using... Ooh, that's a lot of people. Wow, I just got rolled. But you can use it to your benefit, right? Because you have a better gun. If you hit the headshot, they die. It just works out better in that situation. Whereas using a Spectre will put you at a disadvantage, because chances are they have full armor. And you're not going to get much out of killing them with that headshot. Or with the Spectre. So.
Yeah.
Oh, the Spectre is easier.
When I try to save, I always go for a Spectre, then I end up regretting it because I like missed a headshot that I would have gotten with a Vandal.
Yeah, exactly. And the Spectre also, it just does less damage overall, you know, when you're shooting with it. So here, now that we lost our first round, we're on another eco round, right? So what can we do to optimize our buy? How much credits do you have left over with that buy?
120? I mean, 1200, yeah.
But underneath that number, it'll say the amount that you have for the next one. Perfect. Hey, yeah, that's awesome. All you have, you're literally only down a satchel then.
Joke's over. You're dead.
Going up. Don't get in my way.
Wow, my game is lagging. What the heck? Damn. I hit Viper or the Neon 101. There you go.
Wow.
Spike down A.
Wow.
Gotta go.
I'm too far.
Is your
They
ping
found my
spiking?
trap.
No, not my ping. It's just because I have so many things. My computer's really old. I've had it since like 2016. So I'll get like FPS drops that causes it to like my like I have like a choppiness to my game. Makes it hard to see.
Oh.
Especially when I'm streaming and using like a model and stuff. So whenever I play ranked, unless I'm streaming, I try not to like have like my web browser open and stuff. So like right now I have my web browser open just because I've been, you know, doing stuff on the side. Make sure
That makes sense.
yep.
We're still on economy, right?
No. Technically, because we saved that last round, we should be able to full buy on this round, right? So full utility, full weapon. For you, you might not be able to afford a satchel just because the previous round. But if you got a kill, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Use Opera GX. Yeah, I knew it uses a lot less, but I don't know. I've been using Firefox for so long, it's just more convenient for me.
Spike planted.
Area Planet B. Wow, okay. Oh, I thought that was... Oh!
One enemy remaining.
Now where's the
Last player
killjoy? Oh,
standing.
there's the killjoy. There we go.
You're cracked.
I've played the game for a long time. I don't know.
Is there some way to see ranks from here? How did they know your rank?
Cause I have the buddy. So on my gun, I have like the radiant buddy on it, right? So if they see that, they're like, "Oh my god, he's radiant." That's also why I play these things. I just mute everyone because I don't like. I don't know. People get annoying. People get annoying.
That makes sense. I
Not
can
to
hear it.
mention in random games like this, people like if you're a certain rank, they start flaming you if you do bad and stuff like that. But I'm not trying to play hard. I'm trying to have fun, you know. I'm trying to teach. I'm not playing good here. About teaching. That's one.
Out of my way.
Oh well, I got one tap.
Ah, it's that Spectre gaming.
Yep, Spectre is unfortunate. So on a map like this, because of how long range it is, it's actually more beneficial if you buy something like a Marshall. Because the Marshall, you have a lot of range, right? You can shoot from a really long distance and still have full effectiveness at that range, right? So if you use a Marshall instead of a Spectre, A, it'll cost you less, so you can buy more utility, and B, it'll make it so that you can kill them if you know, headshot them, or you just double body shot and does the same thing. They should try to play for themselves. Yeah, for sure. But yeah. So if you're on an eco or like you're trying to full buy with your team, it's a really big map like this.
Running low.
It might even be better just to buy a sheriff, right? Because the sheriff does 55 damage to body shot, at any range or at most ranges. Anything over 30, it's like 5 damage less, which isn't much. And also if it's close enough, you can one tap headshot, right? You can guarantee a kill.
Yeah.
So Marshall's really good. Sheriff's really good right now because we should be on a full buy. Let me see. If you sell that Marshall, how much money do you have? Did you use any utility last round?
No.
Okay, then yeah, just go Marshall. It's fine.
Okay.
The hunt begins.
Poison orb emitting.
One are your bricks.
Joke's over! You're dead!
Oh, you got flanked. That's not your fault. You, the rest of your team's not doing anything. So.
One enemy remaining.
All good. Also, just from watching you, I definitely think that your internet problems are causing a lot of grievances.
Yeah.
I have them.
Did you see that I tweeted like a clip of my high ping causing Jet to disappear?
Yes, you did. And I was like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Crazy. Crazy.
Let's not complicate it.
Factual.
Yeah, I don't know. Internet's weird. I think that if you had wired connection, chances are you have gotten a lot less latency. You would have had like probably lower ping and better connection. So I would suggest it if you can get it. If you can try it, go for it. Also makes it so that when you stream, it's, you know, nicer, you know.
Yeah.
Toxins going up. Toxin screen down. Poison orb emitted. Don't get in my way.
Last player standing.
They aren't planning bomb? Oh, no ammo. All good.
Reload.
All good. They didn't plant bomb. Interesting.
Their lives are so.
They had sight, but didn't want to plant.
Might as well give them to
It's
me.
probably the Radiant buddy. They're probably just like, we have to hunt him. Gotta kill him.
There's someone there who's radiant.
No, because of my buddy.
Ah.
Because they saw my gun and they're like, he's high level. We need to kill him. Assert dominance. I don't know. I know I do that in Apex. If I see a predator trail going down, I'm like, we're dropping on them and we're killing them.
Oh, you go for the cheese?
Oh yes, it's fun. It's awesome. It's like, hey, I'm asserting my dominance as the better player.
Honestly, I'm like that when I see other raises in a game.
You know, you want to prove you're
like,
better, right? You want to say, I'm the better
I'm
raid.
like, exactly.
What's a Radiant? A Radiant is one of the top 500 players in the ranks for Valorant. Dilo. So one of the top 500 ranked players in
Spike
North America.
planted.
Toxins going up. Toxin screen down.
One on the half wall there. Oh, and at the half wall. That sucks.
Last player standing.
But yeah, top 500 player. At one point, I was ranked number 8. That was my highest.
Really?
That was but that was before I had hit Radiant. When I hit Radiant, I was number 56, I think.
That's still super good.
Yeah.
This symphony
Yeah,
of
eighth was my highest, and that was like before they made Radiant 450R, so I was like 380, 350, somewhere around there for ranked rating. Which is a lot. That's a lot of ranked rating. I don't know. Alright, yeah, so we're on eco round, so make sure you have enough money for next. So I'll just go.
Or 4350.
What was that?
Right now I have 4,350 for the next round.
Yeah, that's perfect.
That's good. Okay.
Poison orb emitted.
Oh, I shot first, please.
Here.
I'm out of here.
Joke's over. You're dead. I can't miss.
Gotta go.
There's somebody coming in the hall too, right? If you look, yeah, that way and to the left in that hallway, there's a player. Saw his leg on the left.
One
on the left.
enemy remaining.
Ah, close,
Through
close.
the wall.
All good, all good.
Teleport's gone.
All good, all good.
Take this.
That headshot, yeah. Sheesh.
30 seconds
I'm
left.
out of here.
Yep.
Spike planted.
Yeah, when you once you saw him, you probably could have unscoped because that gun's not super bad at close ranges. It has a pretty close like what's the word I'm looking for?
Last player standing.
Variation. That's it. Variation in bullet spread. When it's like not scoped in as compared to the operator. The operator would just go random direction. But The Marshall will go in like a very like tightly knit spot.
No one else could do this?
Ooh, it's gonna be close. I don't. Yeah, he got it. We're good.
I saw on what was it, TikTok or something? If the second circle doesn't,
Yes.
yeah. So yeah, okay.
Yeah, the second like circle, how there's like a circle around the center, that's like a white circle. If that one doesn't pop up, you're fine. Once that one shows, hightail it. It's done. Not much you can do. GG, go next. Yeah, that's a really handy tip though. That's a really handy tip. If the bomb's exploding, you see those two white lines? Choom. Bye. Out of there.
Get out of my way.
They're going to be. They're B or mid. They went B.
Spike planted.
Joke's over! You're dead!
Last player standing.
Aw, they're both right in front of me.
Dang.
All good. One's gonna be right here, and the other one's gonna be right here. They're both on that tunnel side now. I can tell if people get it or not. Last game I was in, all my teammates were on the site defusing. I took one look at Spike, got the heck out of there. Yeah.
One enemy remaining.
Hey, all good. Nice try. Nice, so true.
Last round in the half.
They are so
No point
dead.
saving. Buy it all.
How do you feel about Bucky gaming?
I like all the shotguns in this game. They're just dumb. They're awesome. They I don't know. They make the game easy if you're close range. Obviously, if you're far, it makes it hard. Like, watch, for example, if they come in here, I have ult. I just ult and then use a judge, and they can't do anything. If they come in, they die. Simple as that. I'm telling you, they come in, they die. It's a very simple process. Did you hear them drop back there?
Phoenix is over here. where I
Phoenix
am.
is at the door.
One enemy remaining. Spike down.
Neon
A.
was there. She's in mid.
Be a hero, didn't you?
Good job.
Switching
No
sides.
one beats my firepower. I got
Let's
this.
go. Bucky Yucky, that's a good rhyme. I don't know, I like the Bucky. Bucky's a good gun.
For attacking, the whole team moves like together, right?
It really depends. So there's a bunch of different roles when it comes to attacking. So first of all, there's the entry fragger, which is the person that goes into the site first. There's like the supports, so smokes, flashes, that sort of stuff. They come in second. And then there's a role called lurker, which is somebody who like stays at the opposite side of the map and tries to get control when the enemies rotate out. It's not necessarily a role that's always used, but splitting a site is a lot easier than trying to shove in all in one area. So for example, if we all go through this main area, it makes it a lot harder than if we go through mid area as well. So for example, if we go through mid here, right? And we come from two fronts, it's a lot easier than
One enemy remaining.
trying to just come through the one front.
In the dirt.
See, I came from here and I got like 4 kills because none of them were looking at me.
Those are okay, but I will also bring my own.
Yeah, because on every other map, so let's say bind. Unbind, when you go to B site, you have to go through B long and you have to go through hookah, right? So
Yeah.
like there's like those two spots. If you on this map, like you have the same things, right? You have a main and then you have a mid doors, which is sort of like that B long area. So why go through one spot when you can go from two spaces and like take the same or like a even greater amount of space? You get more value out of it as well.
I have the spike. Toxins going up.
Oh man. There's a couple coming from mid. Yeah. It's like the general idea. It's a good rule of thumb to go like 2 and 3 or like 2 2 1.
Someone's in defender's spawn.
Last player standing.
Ah, nice try.
I didn't think she'd be there.
Oh good, no worries. No worries.
They're nothing but flies.
Yeah, the biggest part about another really big part about Valorant is using the audio that you have. So listening to what, let's say, like sounds you hear, whether it's footsteps, gunshots, because those sort of indications as to where people would be. So if like you hear somebody running behind you, but you know for a fact none of your teammates are behind you, then chances are it's not your teammate, right?
Yeah.
You can use those sorts of identifiers to help you get from point A to point B. Can you come A with bomb? Perfect.
Toxins going up.
Should be able to just walk out and plant. Yeah, you should just be able to plant. You're good.
There's someone with an op here. Yeah.
Spike planted. Phoenix down. Enemy down. Toxin screen down.
Reloading. Enemy mid.
Poison orb emitted.
Reloading. Take this.
Poison off.
Watch out.
One enemy remaining.
Nice. There we go. Good stuff.
Hey.
Yay.
No one will remember.
Good stuff. Alrighty, let's go back towards A. Go towards A site.
Spike is down.
Jet is.
Spike down A.
Toxins going up. I have the spike.
Where's Jet, you said?
They killed her.
Oh, okay, okay.
One
Did she
enemy
push
remaining.
you?
Toxin screen down.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Enemy defender spawn.
Let's go.
Say something? Sorry. Ear's still ringing.
Also, this gun skin here, you can take this classic. That gun skin is love it.
Let's go.
Thanks.
Welcome. Because you can listen to music. It's so awesome.
With every
Yeah.
kill, there's music?
If you inspect it, it plays music.
Oh.
And then also when you get kills, it does like a little chime and stuff. It's pretty fun.
Go, go, go.
I like that.
That's the one that does like the big disco rave at the end.
Enemy A.
One enemy remaining.
Three down.
Bomb buddy out. Enemy spotted A.
Nice, good stuff. Good stuff.
You're up.
Also, here, do you want this this Vandal skin?
Yes, please. Where is
Hey,
it?
Reloading.
that's a Phantom here.
Oh, this is a phantom.
There you go. Cool.
Thanks.
Welcome. I'll just toss this one off the map because I don't want the other team getting it. Go. That's the fun part about Valorant. Is if you want to really like screw over other players, but you want to use a different gun, you just throw it off the map. They don't have to find it.
I've never heard of doing that before. I like
Yep.
it though.
Yeah, it's really fun.
Toxins going up.
Cutting their vision.
Don't get in my way. Spike planted. Toxin screen down.
Here. I have this.
There are two coming behind you, by the way.
Teleport's gone.
Oh,
We should run.
Poison orb emitting.
Joke's
that's
over.
fun.
You're dead.
I believe in my team.
Last player standing.
We won. We got it.
Ayo.
Clutch.
Woo.
Nice.
Let's go. Heart of the team.
The enemy only looks composed. Their hearts tell a different story.
Let's go.
Their hearts tell a different story.
Lead. Oh, here. You can have this gun. Just toss your gun first.
Go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Nice.
Yeah, because the other guy was gonna try yoinking it.
Get out of my way.
Here.
Oh, we got M1 warriored.
Hi. I'm pissed.
Last player standing. Flawless.
And TNT.
Ah.
All good. That jet went crazy. That jet went sicko mode.
Oh, they took your
Fight
gun.
till the end.
Yeah, all
matter
good.
what.
There's more where that came from. You
I'll
keep
buy
on me?
you.
Have funds to
Yeah.
spend again.
No. Thank ya.
I need
It's very
to blow
soothing
something
music
up.
too. I don't know. I like the skin. Very good. Very good. Very good.
The hunt begins.
Toxins going up.
Somebody out. Satchel out.
Spike planted.
Here.
Toxin screen down.
40 on neon.
Copy.
One enemy remaining.
Didn't need a gun.
Nice. Sheesh.
They don't have a
Why are we in
single
Radiant? That's so funny. Too
Oh my
funny.
gosh.
I'm freaking silver.
Can I buy you?
Yeah, here.
Anyone have fun? Thank you.
Thank you. So funny.
Focus now.
They're like, why are you all Radiant? What the heck?
Toxins going up. Toxin screen down.
Nice.
Last
Oh,
player
NT.
standing.
Ah.
Spike
All good, all
down
good.
B.
Try
I
instead
saw a
of
silhouette around her.
hey, all good. Instead of spraying, so one of the things with the Vandal is that it's really hard to control the spray. Yo, dang community dealer. Yeah, I did become a VTuber. Sheesh. Yep. Pretty cool. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh my god. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I did. What was I gonna say?
They want to dance?
Oh yeah, instead of spraying, the easiest way to get kills is just tapping with it. Right? Because that way it's super accurate, and wherever you aim, the bullet will go. How you doing your placements?
Alright, my counter strafing lessons.
Yes. Here, you can go if you want. You can take this. I'll take your gun. I did really good in placements. I won all of them except for one, and I placed directly into Ascendant 1. And now I am what? I'm like 3 games away from Immortal again. It's only day 2 of the season. Oh my god. Yeah, nice.
Standing.
Oh, good.
Spike down A.
They want the gun so bad. Yeah, on that girly guy for. Well, I mean, I'll show you my match history after this. It wasn't even that hard, man. Like, I literally, when I say that was super easy, I got 31 of RR from 1 game. I actually went crazy mode. I don't know. Like, this team surrendered at 5-0, and it gave me 30 plus 30, something like that. So. Kind of crazy.
You die. Breathe when it's over.
In my placements, but I'm anxious as fuck. Bro, all good. You got this. You got this.
Should I always get a rifle when I can, or is sidearm gaming like, is it okay by choice?
So usually you always want to go for a rifle because it'll always be better, right? It'll always give you the most damage and most bang for your buck. Whereas using something like a sheriff, if you use a sheriff compared to like a vandal, you might lose out because the vandal will kill at all ranges where the sheriff will not. So it's always better to opt for a rifle than to not. Nice, good kill.
1 enemy remaining.
Hop off, okay. I hit her 101. Oh, I hit her 127. There you go. Oh. Yeah, good shot though. Well done.
Match
Thank
point.
you.
Welcome. Yeah, with the Vandal here, I can go ahead and drop you that. The Vandal is a lot easier to just go tap, right? Than to try spraying. Because spraying, you have to like control it and pull down in a random direction, and it's a pain, right? But if you just do like small bursts, like 3-round bursts like that, here, just like hold M1 just a little bit, right? Like that, just like 3-round bursts. If you do that, see how tight it is, right? It gives you a lot more control. So if you aim at someone and you do that, the chances are you'll hit all 3 shots, right? It makes it a lot easier for you to fight.
Toxin screen down.
Oh!
Player standing.
Did not know there was gonna be 2 people.
1 enemy remaining.
All good. All good. 大丈夫。
大丈夫ですよ。
大丈夫です。Yep.
Sudden death.
None of my stuff has malfunctioned yet.
Celebrate that.
Here.
Anyone have funds to spare? Thank you.
Go. Shoop.
Anyone have funds to spare?
You're like a celebrity. No, it's so funny reading the chat.
Yeah, I'm just reading. It's funny.
Anyone have funds to spare? see you crawl.
Viper talk. I don't need to. Funny.
Enemies spotted in their inside.
Enemy down.
Always straight out mi homie. Mi hombre. The Viper wall is going down in a second. Oh, I should probably grab the orb.
Toxin screen down. Spike planted.
Oh!
Enemy B.
Toxins going up. Ended. Don't get in my way.
One enemy remaining.
Toxin screen down.
Well, we've won.
Wow, got it.
Everything I wanted.
Let's
Attackers
go.
win.
Change your val name to socially anxious. Let me make sure I didn't remove you because I high key removed a bunch of people because I maxed my friends list and I needed space, and so I just removed anyone I didn't recognize.
I remember you saying that. Oh my
I
gosh,
did.
if it was before I became Sheep Gang, I would have been liable to getting the boot too.
Okay, I do have you added. There we go. Hey, all good. No, I think yeah, if I read the tag, I think it would have been fine. I would have been like, ShiningSion. It's all good. All good. We're good. Alrighty, well, good stuff. Good stuff. I definitely noticed after I mentioned the tapping thing, you got a couple more kills, which is good.
Thank
Hey,
you.
of course, of course. Of course. Alrighty. Well, with that, we're gonna go ahead and end the stream here. We've been streaming for around 3 hours and 50 minutes. Hopefully, you've learned something today, Sion.
Thank you for the lessons. I'm gonna rewatch the VOD a bunch of times too, for sure.
Of course, of course. And we'll be having another one next week with I don't know who yet, but we'll figure it out. We will learn as we go along. Alrighty. Well, with that, we're gonna go ahead and raid Ame. She's streaming Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel.
Absolutely got destroyed the other time I played.
You guys have emotes. You can use this one. If you do not, feel free to use this. Thank you all for coming on, hanging out. I'll see you all next time. See ya! There we go. Stream is